This is the story of our guy, So Thin Lum, anxiously waiting for results from 10 job applications. Then his phone got struck by lightning. Thought this month he'd have to survive on instant noodles. Suddenly, the phone started showing strange behavior. It could connect to the immortals in the heavens. Just exchange valuable items for celestial currency to buy immortal goods. You could even exchange for cultivation techniques of immortals. It all started one morning. While our Thin Lum was washing his face, the phone rang. He dashed out at rocket speed to grab the phone. Hello. Hello, I've been waiting all afternoon. Hello, sir. This is the Lao Neo Credit Center with an extremely low annual interest rate of only 200%. Hearing this, he froze. Credit again. Don't bother me, I'm waiting for an interview call. I'm So Thin Lum. Lately, So Unlucky got laid off and no company calls back after sending 10 CVs. Went to submit 10 CVs, but no one bothers to call back. Everyone thinks single folks like me eat for themselves and feed the whole family. But I still have a younger brother in high school. Living in a big city is expensive, I'm about to starve. But even if I die, I won't ask my parents for money. Not even if you hit me. Outside, it was raining heavily, thunder roaring. Then a lightning bolt struck the power line, burning his phone to a crisp. Seeing this, he jumped up like a hip-hop dancer. The phone looked dead. He hurried to pick it up. It's dead, it's dead. Friend, don't scare me. Don't die like that. If you die, how am I going to watch videos on Sunday? Vitamin A new video just came out. Thank God it still powers on. Why is this happening? Only WeChat left. Where did all the messages and calls go? Is heaven trying to destroy me? What if a company calls, am I really going to starve? Or did lightning break it? Can this be fixed? Now it's just a brick. Opening WeChat, all kinds of immortal characters appeared. Like the 9 heavenly mysterious maidens Hang Nya and the Supreme Elder Lord. Why is there no chat history with these people? Who are they? Why is the avatar my photo? My avatar is clearly a black cat named Little Spring South Pure Love, right? What's celestial currency? Let me try. He raised the phone camera to the chair next to the table. The phone immediately showed a notification 0.01 celestial currency. Do you want to exchange for celestial currency? He quickly confirmed. The chair disappeared. The phone showed 0.01 celestial currency recharge successful. First recharge success received a discount coupon. So Thin Lum was completely bewildered, his face confused. Is this real or fake? Feels like I overdosed on drugs. He slapped himself to sober up. Felt a bit of pain, so knew it wasn't drugs. Oh my God, this isn't a dream. Could it be that WeChat really connects to the legendary Immortal Realm? What's the Immortal Realm Business Association? But it's expensive. This must be the Celestial Immortal decision. Looking around, this is the most reasonable option. Now I only have 0.01 celestial currency. Need to find a way to make money. Looking around the house, nothing left to sell. Suddenly it hit him. Got it, this is really strange. Feels pretty believable, but now only 300 in hand and unemployed. Where am I going to find 3,000? Looks like I have to borrow money. Tried a few times on the phone, nothing but WeChat left. Tried going to an internet cafe to see. Keyboard tapping filled the net cafe. He messaged Vungban2. Are you there? I'm a bit tight now. Can you lend me 500? I'll pay back next month. Vungban2 immediately replied. So Thin Lum 10 messaged Triu Feng. Are you there? I'm a bit tight now. Can you lend me 500? I'll pay back next month. Trio Fong didn't hesitate and transferred. Got it. Take your time looking for a job. Eat properly. You don't have to pay me back. I'll bring some oil later to fix your phone. Thin Lum then messaged Hua Qiudong. Hua Qiudong was busy putting a squirrel in a jar, so a bit busy. I'll transfer money to you soon. Take care of yourself. Suo Tien Lam was so touched that tears streamed down his face. Everyone is really so kind. Shu Tien Lam will never forget everyone's kindness. All right, let's get to work. Mission complete, received 0.112 currency units. Suo Tien Lam immediately purchased the Immortal's secret technique. As soon as he placed the order, a beam of light suddenly shot into his brain and golden, sparkling characters appeared around him. This is the inner core technique for refining chi and forming the Immortal Pill. Sounds powerful. Let's see how it goes. Suo Tien Lam struggled to sit cross-legged in meditation while the black spiritual chi enveloped him. Wait, the Immortal's secret technique says the heaven and earth. Spiritual chi should be pure white, so why is mine pitch black like this? Could it be from looking at too many black cats? Or is it air pollution? Looks like the city isn't suitable for chi refining. The mountain in Xuanthang is the 9 immortal mountains, takes 3 hours to get there. This tree looks like it's condensed from spiritual chi itself. Suo Tianlam climbed the tree like a monkey. Scene switches to half a day later. 2 girls were walking and suddenly felt tired, so they stopped to rest. Suo Tianlam looked down from above. The scenery was so beautiful it excited him. White as milk, not just white, but glowing. Has Thien Quoch Vu been pursuing him for a while, so why not give him a chance? Quoch Vu is a good guy, but I don't feel it. Oh, here they come. Like me and Trandan Sin, it's all just temporary. Wait until I find someone I feel for, then dump him. Don't advise me anymore. I feel I can't do that kind of temporary thing. Thien Lam on the tree nodded repeatedly in agreement. Agreed that relationships can't be temporary. But the goddess doesn't want anything to do with me either. Well then, just cultivate, seeing everyone is tired. How about we go down the mountain? Yeah, I'm tired Dan Sin is still so thoughtful. I don't want to climb anymore. Thien, what about you? I'm a bit tired too. Suddenly a howl startled everyone. The wolf's howl is too dead. There are wolves on the mountain. Everyone quickly go down the mountain. A giant wolf appeared, causing panic. 2 men looked at each other, nodded, then stepped back. The red-haired girl gasped. Suo Thien Lam saw the 2 men running away first from above. Those 2 bastards are really terrible men. The short-haired girl cried out desperately, Trandan Sin Quoch Vu, save me, don't abandon me! Bien, get up quickly, let's run. But how do we escape this ferocious wolf in front of us? Suo Thien Lam was still hesitating. Damn, these 2 are about to be eaten by the wolf. The 2 girls just hugged each other and cried. Can I save them? I've only practiced the Immortal's secret technique for half a day. What should I do? Thinking for 1/10 of a billionth of a second, Suo Thien Lam decided to take a risk, grabbed a small branch. He jumped from a 30-meter height to the ground with fierce momentum. Suo Thien Lam landed on the ground in a super cool superhero pose. If you're good, come at me, here I am. Seeing someone reckless, the wolf got even more excited. It charged without hesitation. Suo Thien Lam raised a wooden stick to block. The wolf jumped on top of Suo Thien Lam, trying to bite him. But Suo Thien Lam managed to stab the wolf's mouth with the branch, preventing it from biting. Taking advantage of this, Suo Thien Lam focused his energy into his fist, delivered a painful punch to the wolf. The wolf spat blood and retreated several hundred meters. Isn't that powerful enough? But this is also a good opportunity. Then Suo Thien Lam jumped up about 1 kilometer high and launched a deadly blow, hitting the wolf's head. The wolf died instantly. Suo Thien Lam dusted off his hands arrogantly. Can't fight and don't know your limits. 2 people. Are you okay? We're fine, thank you. The girl looked at him gratefully. But at this moment, the girl was scared, her legs weak, unable to stand, and fell into his arms. Suo Thien Lam's attention was drawn to the girl's chest. The girl blushed and stammered, Sorry, I didn't mean to. I was just a bit emotional. It's okay, thank you. But who are you and why are you here? Just passing by. I saw you have good skills and a decent personality, interested in working as a bodyguard for my company. Suo Thien Lam was stunned. Bodyguard. The girl immediately handed over a business card. Yes, personal bodyguard for me. Can you protect me safely? Cut to the girl's company. At this moment, someone is frowning. Why do we have to deal with these stupid paperwork tasks? The newcomer has nothing to do with me, Su Tianlin to Shen Yuetian. Why do you care about him so much? Forcing me to handle this contract signing procedure myself. Who is this person? A bodyguard with a monthly salary of 30,000. Sorry, I'm here to handle the entry procedure. I am Su Tianlin. The person reporting today is Su Tianlin following me. This scholarly name belongs to the newcomer, who is also a bodyguard. Old Chu is here. Secretary Zhao greets warmly. Good morning, Director Old Chu is Shun in. What wind brought Secretary Zhao here today, and she even greeted me proactively like this? Boss Shen hasn't arrived yet. Are you here to see him about something? Ah, this is a new colleague working in Boss Shen's office. Also a bodyguard. I heard his martial arts are excellent. He alone took on 30 people. He looks so weak, but he's supposed to be highly skilled in martial arts. Suddenly, Old Chu throws a punch at Su Tianlin. Tianlin swiftly dodges, spins in the air a few times, then lands behind Old Chu, laughing with satisfaction. Not bad. The glasses-wearing man sneers. It's starting. Old Chu is a martial arts fanatic. How could a bodyguard go without any skill? What's so special about him a salary of 30,000? What a joke. Let old Chu beat him flat and see if Shen Yuetian still dares to use him. Su Tianlin thinks silently. Is this guy crazy? Tianlin gets serious, raises his hand to block the strike, surprising old Chu. What's going on here? How is his strength so great? Seeing a weakness near old Chu's foot, Tianlin quickly kicks him in the middle. He immediately grabs his leg, grimacing in pain like a monkey. Are you wearing iron armor? No, look carefully. Tianlin hurriedly pulls up his pant leg to reveal his fair skin. Old Chu sees this and reluctantly admits defeat. The sound of high heels clacking Shen Yuetian arrives and asks Su Tianlin, why are you two fighting? Ha, nothing, we were just training. Boss Shen, you're here, are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Chu, you dare to fight in the company? Su Tianlin also fought. First day at work and already fighting. Don't put me in a difficult position. And Zhao Tianwu, do you only know how to do trivial tasks? Can't even stop a fight. Do you want to be useless your whole life? I didn't stop it either, but my company doesn't keep slackers who get blamed. The boss blames him. Zhao Tianwu angrily curses Su Tianlin silently. I'll make you get out of Jufeng City. Morning traffic is busy. Baofeng just found a job and even got an advance. I will pay you right away. Su Tianlin happily calls, so fast are you planning to send the remaining 7,000 home? Dad, this is Tianlin. I changed my phone number. Tianlin, have you found a job yet? Not yet, sir. He thought of Shen Yuetian and said, the boss is very kind. She advanced me a month's salary. Su Tianlin's father happily said, that's great. What kind of work is it? You must take care of your health. Su Tianlin happily said, I'm a manager with a monthly salary of 7,000. I'll send home 4,000. From now on, don't save so much at home. Don't let Dad worry. In the rented room, Su Tianlin sits on the bed thinking currently guiding qi can treat and nourish the body, so even sleeping time can be used for training. Night has fallen. Su Tianlin frowns, looking at his phone, thinking only 3,000 left. I can only start with the Ranxian technique. So poor it makes me doubt life. Now the qi in my dantian is no longer healthy. But maybe I can try the external pill method using rare medicinal herbs refined with spiritual energy into pills beneficial to the body. Su Tianlin angrily tears up the paper. With that kind of medicinal herb, I can't even afford pocket change. He looks at the talismans in front of him. Talismans require not only spiritual energy, but also some tools. You can also directly draw talismans using spiritual energy. Su Tianlin's eyes light up like car headlights. Right now, I can only draw the most basic type, so I'll just try using the wind control talisman. Su Tianlin rushes outside to try another method, chanting the incantation to test it. But where should I strike now? Looking at the forest ahead, he thinks, it's so deep in the woods, probably no one here. Su Tianlin heads into the forest and casts his spell. Oh my, I'm really amazing. Su Tianlin excitedly says this strike created a small fire burning already. So Tianlam immediately panicked. Setting fire early in the morning and going to the police station in the evening didn't work. He had to quickly put out the fire. He continued chanting the water seal spell and a large stream of water shot straight at the flames. So Tianlam breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, the fire hadn't spread. His face immediately looked tired and dizzy, so Tianlam collapsed, having used too much spiritual power. A week later at the office, Tam Nguyen Tien was on the phone. How could this happen? So what happened? Tam Nguyen Tien stood up and said, Ngoc Xuan Than Market no longer supplies jade to us. Tianlam was surprised. What? Now we have to go to the Ngoc market. Tam Nguyen Tien stepped outside and said, Lao Chu Yu and Tianlam come with me. Yes. At the market, people were buzzing, not understanding why the Nine In Phuong's Tem Nguyen Tien was here, as it was said the elders had stopped supplying materials to Nine Phuong. Tham Nguyen Tien called Cat Lao over. Cat Lao hadn't seen her for a long time, suddenly seeing her said, Nguyen Tien, you're here. Tam Nguyen Tien anxiously asked, why have you stopped supplying jade to our company? Our two companies have always cooperated happily. Cat Lao calmly replied, it's not that we don't supply, but there is no stock. All the jade material orders were bought up by other gold and jewelry shops in Xuantan. I heard the Tran family allied with the gold shops in Xuanthang to squeeze out Nine Fuang. I have no other way if I offend the Tran family because of our relationship with Nine Fuang. Quoch Vu Tam Nguyet Teen frowned and said, Right now there's not even a little stock left. Could it be that there's none for the whole year? Suddenly, So Thien Lam noticed a group talking. Tran Dan Sin and Li Vien Vien, why were these two together? Tran Dan Sin also recognized them and said, What a coincidence, General Manager Tam is here too. Tran Dan Singh sneered, Oh, these two are General Manager Tam's little bodyguards. General Manager is really free, one a thug, the other a dismissed soldier. So Thien Lam angrily said, What did you say? Nguyet Teen quickly stopped him. Thien Lam calmed down a bit. They're just barking dogs, don't pay attention to them. Tran Dan Sin continued mocking, Ha ha ha, General Manager Tam sure has sharp words. Doesn't let her own dogs bite others, but rushes forward herself. Li Vien Vien weakly said, Nguyet Tien, the Tran and Tam families are wealthy in Xuantan. If they confront each other, it benefits neither side. Tam Nguyet Tien closed her eyes and said, At the hospital, these two almost ruined us, yet you have no principles. I couldn't do that. Tran Dan Sin sneered, Just over a small matter like this, you let the police arrest me. You're really something. Now that the materials have been taken, you can only hide. Quoch Vu held her hand and said, Nguyet Tien, this isn't hopeless. I know you like me. If you marry me, the Tem family's business will be absolutely secure. Tam Nguyet Tien flicked his hand away and said, The alliance of the Tran family's gold shops isn't powerful enough. Only the mayor's nephew has that kind of influence. Don't even think about touching me. Quoch Vu was stunned and said, I want what's best for you, no Nguyet Tien, I love you. Nguyet Tien, I can't be so heartless. If I don't agree to marry you, he said nastily. Not just jade, you won't get a single piece of gold or jewelry either. In a few days you'll be begging me on your knees, crying. He shouted, From tomorrow on, your gold and jewelry supplies will be cut off. Your stocks will fall, banks will stop investing, and creditors will squeeze you until you can't survive. Within a year, Nine Fuang Kim Ngok will disappear from Xuantan. So Thien Lam gritted his teeth thinking about this bastard clutching his phone as he considered what to do. Suddenly, So Thien Lam thought of something. Wait, maybe we can use Super WeChat. The higher the value, the more money it can be exchanged for. So Thien Lam said coldly, Don't shout, there's no finished product. Could it be there's no raw material either? Can you buy up all the unextracted stuff? Quoch Vu laughed coldly. Do we need to buy it all? You outsiders don't get it. Buying all the raw materials doesn't mean you can extract the jade. Relying on raw materials to turn over capital is like digging your own grave. So Thien Lam stepped closer and said, How do you know if you don't try? Quoch Vu disdainfully said, Foolish, better to rely on yourself than pray to gods. Doing it yourself is how you prosper. I don't believe good materials can't be found unless Nguyet Tien comes to beg me. Otherwise, you're definitely dead in this battle. So Thien Lam smiled confidently and walked away, saying, Just wait. You won't be laughing for long, kid. The crowd at the market was noisy. What happened? Tam Nguyet Tien and Quoch Vu's son are arguing. I don't know what happened, but it seems hopeless. So Thien Lam looked at the pile of raw materials and thought, This really exceeds my knowledge. I don't understand anything at all. He looked around, then picked up his phone, which displayed the monetary value of the materials. Could it be that I have to convert this into money? So Thien Lam began to worry. The value of these stones reached 200. It seems if you come here to gamble without experience, you will definitely lose. No more betting. 200 is not a small number. He continued to check each raw stone's value after rolling around for a while with no result. Drenched in sweat, he had examined over 30 stones but hadn't found a satisfactory one. This feeling of exhaustion was really unpleasant. He continued holding his phone and suddenly spotted a stone valued at 30, joyfully thinking, Finally found it, good thing I didn't give up. Holding the stone in his hand, he silently thought, Great, this might help Thien Nguyet. Quoch Vu looked at the clock and said, Almost an hour already. Tran Dan Sin added fuel to the fire. That kid probably ran off. Pity our general director Tam is still out here in the sun. So Thien Lam hurried over and said, I'm back. Quach Vu was surprised. This is raw stone, what's so special about it? Nguyen Tin was full of doubt, although I'm not good at gambling stones. She also understood the price of this raw stone from Thien Lam. The quality wasn't good value, not high, and the chance of finding jade was very low. But seeing Thien Lam full of confidence, she decided to let him try. Just need to figure out how to handle this situation. Quach Vu turned to the watching crowd, loudly said, "Outsiders are still outsiders. Soon there will be an exciting show. Everyone remember to take out your phones and record." People around laughed mockingly, not bad in the head. Choosing this ugly Honda truly embarrassing. Tomorrow can go on Weibo to make money, ha 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 ha. A man entered Quach Vu's shop saying to him, "Let me introduce, this is the famous stone gambling master of Donghu City. My third young master invited him to help." He said, "Uncle Trong, please help Miss Lai pick a few raw stones later." The man nodded. "Leave it to me." Suddenly, he noticed the stone in So Thien Lam's hand and said, "Rough surface, lots of water, inside loose structure." Also, the surface has no black layer, likely no jade inside. Quach Vu laughed scornfully. "I don't think so. It's very likely it has no chance at all." Tham Nguyen Tien thought, "The chance of finding jade is really very small." So Thien Lam pointed and said, "If so, then let's bet." Quach Vu frowned. "What do you want to bet?" So Thien Lam held up one finger. "Loser must kneel and bow once winner bows 3 times. Dare to bet or not, I'm not afraid of you, an outsider. If the jade inside this discarded stone is cheaper than the raw stone, you lose. If the jade is more expensive than the raw stone, I lose. How about that?" So Thien Lam firmly said, "Let's decide on that." Quach Vu mocked, "I'm betting with this kid." Everyone heard that. "Please make it easy for this kid to count what can be cut from his discarded stone." The crowd cheered, cut it, let us see who has to kneel." Tham Nguyen Tien worried. "So," Thien Lam spoke too quickly without thinking. "I can't stop him now. We can only hope this stone's quality is not too bad." So Thien Lam placed the stone into the cutting machine. The machine started cutting, and a green patch appeared in the stone. The appraiser said, "This is ice jade and a top-grade jadeite. This kind is rare, truly an eye-opener." Tham Nguyen Tien happily said, "Didn't expect Thien Lam to have such an eye, or maybe just lucky." The excited spectators joined in. Unlucky Quach Vu shouted, "That raw stone was only worth tens of thousands. This cut, jade must be at least 6,000. Looks like today Quach Vu will have to kneel." So Thien Lam said proudly, "Yeah, you mortals can't understand the power of Super WeChat." Quach Vu thought fearfully, "What kind of deity is this kid? How can he be so powerful?" The crowd was noisy. "This Jade Galaxy Jewelry Company offers 7,000, 8,000. Chinduk Jewelry Company wants to buy it." Tham Nguyen Tien looked at him thinking, "I wonder what Thien Lam will decide. His financial situation is not good, just recently graduated. Although the raw stone was paid for by the company." Tham Nguyen Tien thought, "In the end, what will So Thien Lam do with this jade?" Because everyone in the market was noisy. "Sell it to me, sell it to our company." So Thien Lam looked at Tham Nguyen Tien and said sincerely, "Sorry, this jade belongs to Nine Fung Company. We don't have the right to decide." So Thien Lam handed the stone to Tham Nguyen Tien. "Nguyen Tien, this time, let's say I've made a great achievement. Will I get a bonus at the end of the month?" And Tham Nguyen Tien smiled and said, "Your bonus will definitely not be small. I really did not misjudge you." Quach Vu hurriedly pushed people away and left. So Thien Lam timely grabbed his shoulder. "Young Master Quach, where do you want to go?" Quach Vu angrily shook his hand off, frowning. He said, "Kid, don't be so presumptuous." So Thien Lam smiled and said, "Everyone here saw it. Young Master Quach, did you kneel down yourself, or did I help you?" Someone said, "Play fair." Quach quickly kneeled down. Yes, don't be shy." Quach Vu cowardly said, "My third uncle is the deputy mayor of Donghop City. I warn you to speak carefully." Everyone was frightened by his 2 high-ranking relatives. No one dared to speak up. He smugly said, "Good knowing the times makes a true talented man." After speaking, he grabbed So Thien Lam's hand, but So Thien Lam dodged in time. Seeing him trying to grab Quach Vu, he hurriedly lifted his leg to kick him in the back, but unexpectedly he was knocked flying out. Everyone laughed at him like a clown, ha. So Thien Lam smiled and said, "If young Master Quach doesn't want to keep his promise, then I will have to enforce it by force." He grabbed Quach Vu's head and pressed it down. People took out their phones to film and mock. "Don't say it's your third uncle. Even if your dad comes today, he can't save you. Yes. Now Thien Lam pressed Quach Vu's head to the ground. Everyone at the market laughed loudly. Ha. Quoc Vu embarrassedly ran away. I will definitely kill you. Tham Nguyen Tien happily said, Thien Lum, you're really lucky today. Want to pick a few more stones? Bye. So Thien Lum smiled. Sure. Standing desperately in front of a pile of useless stones, he finally chose a satisfactory one and placed it into the cutting machine. Thien Lum, you've made a great achievement. If this second stone can be cut into jade from now on, you will be our company's gem consultant. Are you kidding? Can I really do it? The stone was cut, and inside really was jade. Tham Nguyen Tien joyfully hugged So Thien Lum's neck. It really cut into jade. You're amazing. Like two children, the two looked at each other with blushing faces. Tham Nguyen Tien shyly said, Brother So Thien Lum asked what kind of jade this is and how valuable you can decide yourself. High-grade Type 6 jade, even more precious than the previous one, little brother. You're really good. So Thien Lum seriously said, This is too valuable. Let's hurry back to the company. Tham Nguyen Tien agreed. Okay. Old Chu put the jade into the car, laughing. He said, Brother, so your skills are extraordinary. Luckily, it turned out well. Earned. So Thien Lum proudly said, Actually, I am the reincarnation of Sun Wukong, able to see jade inside stones. Ha ha ha. Tham Nguyen Tien silently looked at him. Old Chu clapped him on the shoulder and said, Brother, so I like making friends with people like you, ha, a real man. So Thien Lum said, I guess so. Thien Lum, you're our company's savior from now on. You are the warehouse manager, okay? Oh, why not? Their car was driving along the roadside when it stopped. Old Chu gave a thumbs up. Thien Lum, just like you said. Tham Nguyen said, How did the tire suddenly burst like this? So Thien Lum replied, It's okay. Stay inside the car, don't get out. So Thien Lum got out of the car. A few strangers carrying swords appeared. They sneered wickedly as they advanced toward him. So Thien Lum smiled coldly. You're done for kids. Behind them, Old Chu was laughing. One took out a phone and looked. He said he was the one young Master Quoc mentioned. Let's go. Tham Nguyen sat worried inside the car. What now? They have knives. Thien Lum, will he be okay? You sit in the front seat, Thien Lum. I won't leave you behind. The car suddenly reversed. The thug was startled and almost got hit. Damn it, he angrily said. You rotten woman, do you want to die? I was going to leave you alone. So Thien Lum shouted, Brother Chu. Old Chu quickly grabbed him from behind and locked his neck. Don't worry, brother, leave it to me. Suo Thien Lum said shyly, Brother Chu, what are you talking about? The other two saw that and hurriedly charged at Old Chu, but he managed to dodge in time. Suo Thien Lum ran towards the other guy and grabbed his neck. The thug immediately stabbed his sword towards him, but Suo Thien Lum wasn't harmed at all. Meanwhile, the talisman he hid on his body had shattered. Now, Thien Lum pushed both thugs down. The other one tried to attack from behind, but was stopped by Old Chu in time. You still dare to attack from behind. Thanks, Brother Chu. Thien Nguyen, are you okay? Old Chu teased. Don't worry, sister, you're fine. Suo Thien Lum called after Old Chu shyly. Tham Thien Nguyen's car crashed into a rock and broke down. Old Chu said, Now we can only walk back. It's okay, at least nobody got hurt. On the deserted mountain road, the three of them walked together. Tham Thien Nguyen looked at Suo Thien Lum and thought to herself, All these years I've always been alone. This is the first time someone is walking with me. Suddenly a car sped up and stopped in front of them. A man got out. Tham Thien Nguyen said, Dad, this is how you greet Uncle Tam. After hearing that, Tom Kutin was silent. He reached into his pocket and took out a check. He said, Thank you for saving Thien Nguyen, but this trouble is because of you. I don't want my daughter to be in danger anymore. Here's 1,000. You should quit your job yourself. Suo Thien Lum looked at the check with a serious expression and said, I'm really sorry, Uncle Tham. I saved your daughter not for money. About quitting, Old Chu patted Suo Thien Lum's shoulder to comfort Mr. Tam. Please reconsider. Thien Lum is a talent. Tham Thien Nguyen also held his hand and said, Dad, whether he quits or not should be up to me. She gave her father a pleading look. Tom Q Tin sighed and said, Fine, let's go home. Suo Thien Lum, Old Chu, your business ends here. Tham Q Ting and Tham Thien Nguyen got in the car and each went back to their own homes. I heard that kid is very capable. Could it be you like him already? Tham Thien Nguyen excitedly said, Dad, the next morning at work, Suo Thien Lum focused on drawing talismans. Thien Nguyen really is a fairy on Earth. Reward her 300,000. Send some home and we'll figure out the rest later. Suo Thien Lum happily thought about buying some ancient coins at the antique market to exchange for cash and try it out. Suo Thien Lum looked at the ancient coin stall for a while. He held a bag of ancient coins and happily went home. Suddenly, he noticed his room door was open. "Why is my door open?" Suothin Lam hurried in to check. He was almost furious, discovering his belongings smashed all over the room. It was a total wreck. Behind Suothin Lam, 2 thugs holding bottles were about to hit him on the head. Suothin Lam thought, could it be them? He quickly turned around. Luckily, Suothin Lam dodged the surprise attack. Suothin Lam pulled out a talisman. The guy holding a knife from yesterday shouted, "Brat, we've been waiting a long time now, die!" He yelled angrily. Suothin Lam caught the knife with both hands and asked, "You guys were sent by Guo Wu, right?" The thug said, "That's right. Young Master Guo has been holding a grudge against you for a long time." Suddenly, Suothin Lam broke the sword. That guy was so scared he was trembling. He shouted, "You two get up! What are you standing there for?" The other 2 also grabbed weapons and charged. Suothin Lam somehow pulled out a long stick and hit the 2 thugs. They were knocked to the ground. Both were scared and said, "He's too fast." "What's going on? Is he still human?" The guy with the gun fired a shot at Suothin Lam. Suothin Lam was shot and fell down. Could I really die like this? Suddenly he remembered, right, I have a protective talisman. Suothin Lam felt all over his body and found no bullet wound. Ha ha, surprised. The thugs couldn't believe it. What, is he still human? Suothin Lam charged forward and struck the guy who fired the gun hard with the stick. He rolled his eyes and fell down. The other 2 panicked and ran away, yelling, "Murder and help." Suothin Lam looked puzzled. "Weren't you guys trying to kill me? Why are you running? Don't be so cowardly." Suothin Lam checked the guy he just hit and said, "Luckily, he's still breathing." Suddenly, the sound of police sirens blared outside. Woo woo woo. Suothin Lam looked out the door, thinking the police arrived so quickly. 2 police officers stepped in and said, "Someone reported a murder here. What happened?" Suothin Lam frowned and said, "No one is dead. Isn't he still alive?" The police checked the thug's breathing. Suothin Lam stared intently at the female officer's chest. He pretended to be embarrassed and covered his face. Hey, this is improper." He looked at the police, then turned to his 2 accomplices and said, "Indeed, no one is dead. It's a false report, but this is a public disturbance offense." They hugged each other, fearfully crying. Even if not dead, they'd get beaten bloody. "Please save us." The female officer crossed her arms and said to Suothin Lam, "You hit a police officer. This is my house. They came to rob me, so of course I had to fight back." Thien Lam answered honestly, "In this world, it's rare to see such a dumb robber robbing and screaming so loud." The 2 accomplices hid behind the door, scared, saying to the police, "He's lying. He's not human. Bullets don't even kill him." The female officer said coldly, "Sorry, these 3 hoodlums made a false report. We will investigate this matter." The other officer handcuffed the 2 accomplices and led them away. They kept protesting their innocence. At this moment, Suothin Lam's gaze fell again on the female officer's ample chest. His face flushed red. The female officer glanced at him softly and said, "But I think you're not ordinary." At Suothin Lam's house, he sat cross-legged, pondering. "This Guo Wu guy is getting crazier by the day. If I don't kill him, he will kill me," Suothin Lam said firmly. "First, we have to locate Guo Wu. Use a talisman to track him thousands of miles away, then find another talisman that leaves no trace." He took out a talisman, chanted a spell, and began searching for his location. After the talisman burned to ashes, Suothin Lam's eyes lit up as an image of Guo Wu buying sex at the Hong Nguyen bar appeared before him. Suothin Lam took out another talisman and chanted again. "Oh," Suothin Lam said with a cold smile, "Guo Wu, your death day has come." A summoned figure appeared in front of him. The robot summoned by Suothin Lam immediately jumped down from his apartment. The robot's eyes glowed with dangerous light. Suothin Lam sat in his room and said, "Hope this armored robot won't disappoint me. Just a little cultivation." At the Hong Nguyen bar, Guo Wu was immersed in pleasure. "What genes does the woman have?" "Young master, you're amazing." 2 bodyguards stood guard outside, seemingly oblivious to the woman's moaning inside. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. Guo Wu was startled and turned around. He shouted, "Who's looking for death? Can't you see the boss is busy?" Both bodyguards outside were also thrown through the wall. Guo Wu began to fear. The armored robot stepped inside. Guo Wu screamed in terror. "Ah!" The armored robot stepped forward and raised its fist toward him. Guo Wu trembled, tears and snot all over his face. He screamed and begged for his life, "Mom. Someone wants to kill me. The armored robot suddenly stopped and then disappeared. The woman hugging the blanket was stunned with fear. She was terrified and couldn't stand it, shouting, "There's a ghost trying to kill people." The female officer asked if she was colluding with the bar owner to drive Guo Vu crazy and make up stories. The woman who was just making love with Guo Vu on the bed said, "Our bar has surveillance cameras. You can investigate. The bar owner wants to use the footage to make some money from the big boss." The surveillance footage was played on the computer. Guo Vu's voice echoed, "Baby, you are my heart and soul, my treasure. I want to turn you into a bright pearl. Am I treating you well? Young Master Q treats you the best." The armored robot appeared on the screen. The female officer ordered to stop. Strange. Vuki copied this video and sent it to the tech department. Also block the news. The next morning, the news reported a strange incident. The drug-addicted youth Guo Vu in Xuanthang suddenly went crazy. Suo Lam watched the news and said that Guo Vu guy has gone insane. Heaven truly has eyes. Suddenly, a knock sounded at the door. "I'm here to see Mr. Suo." I wonder if Director Tam could avoid this for a bit. The female officer stepped in and said, "No problem. Thien Lum, you just answer her. She will arrange a lawyer for you, so Thien Lum, stay calm, okay?" The female officer said seriously, "This is the second time we've met." "That's right, so you must know why I came looking for you, right?" So Thien Lum avoided the question, saying, "How would I know why you came?" The female officer raised a piece of paper and said, "This person went crazy after waking from a coma at your house the other day. This morning there was another person. Both of these people have connections to you. Once might be a coincidence, but twice is that still a coincidence?" Female officer Mei Vu K stepped closer and spoke to So Thien Lum. So Thien Lum calmly replied, "Officer, if you have evidence, just present it. If not, don't just guess." "How do you know I don't have evidence?" She turned back to him. "Have you already destroyed all the evidence?" Mei Vu K suddenly noticed something on the table. Many talismans with strange drawings, just like the yellow paper found in Kwok Vu's room. The officer picked up a talisman and asked, "What is this?" So Thien Lum pointed to his computer. "Oh, I just like watching gangster Taoist movies, so I drew these for fun." "Could it be the police are also policing this?" The female officer looked at him suspiciously, then said, "If so, I'll contact you again later." So Thien Lum smiled and said, "Officer, take your time. This is really simple." "Then why must we investigate this person?" So Thien Lum sneered silently, "If you want to investigate me, I'll play along." Tham Nguyen Tien entered and said, "Something's wrong. Something happened." "It's nothing, don't worry." Secretary Trio smiled and said, "Humph. Why would the police come if nothing happened?" Tham Nguyen Tien said irritably, "Secretary Trio, don't talk nonsense." Then she asked Thien Lum if he knows about gemstone appraisal. So Thien Lum rubbed his chin and said, "I wouldn't say I'm knowledgeable. It's just a strange feeling. Maybe it's a talent." Secretary Trio sneered, "Oh, really? I think you were just lucky before." So Thien Lum said, "I'm lucky. If now I can accurately evaluate these 10 raw stones, then you could say, this is my skill, right?" Director Tham let him try. 10 stones were laid out on the table. Tham Nguyen Tien said, "So Thien Lum, try arranging these 10 uncut stones by jade value from high to low." So Thien Lum confidently said, "Okay, give me half an hour." Half an hour later, the stones were arranged in order. "Nguyen Tien, I'm done." "Thanks for your hard work, Thien Lum." Secretary Tro said, "Go get the stones cut." Secretary Tru called, "Tu Li, you all come here. He resents being called white face. Let's wait and see." "I don't believe your guess is right." Tu Li checked and said honestly, "Director Tum Master To's arrangement is completely accurate. Even a top appraisal expert would find it hard to do." Secretary Tro didn't believe it and said what? "How could that be?" So Thien Lum looked smugly at him. Tham Nguyen Tien suddenly said, "Thien Lum, can you be a gemstone appraisal consultant for the company? Salary is $5 million a year." Tu Li was surprised. That's a really high salary. Secretary Trio shouted, "Director Tam, this whiteface is just guessing. How can you decide so quickly?" Tham Nguyen Tien angrily said, "I already warned you not to talk nonsense." "Director Tham, don't let this whiteface fool you. $5 million a year. Do you want to support him?" So Thien Lum smiled and said, "If he's whiteface, then try tasting a punch from whiteface here." Secretary Trio got angry and rushed forward, but was quickly grabbed by his collar by So Thien Lum and thrown against the wall. "Go, you're even worse than whiteface. You're just trash." "Triu Tien Vu, you're fired." Kwok Tum Wit Tien threw the termination notice at him, decisively ordering. Secretary Trio shouted wildly, "Fine, you unfaithful couple, just wait." He angrily called his mother, "Mom, I got fired by Tom Nguyen Thien. The white face she's supporting beat me." His mother said, "Dare to bully my son? That's just pathetic." Earlier, the room So Thien Lum rented was smashed by some thugs, so he could only stay temporarily at a hotel. Now Thien Lum is on his way back to room number 2. "This won't do. I have to quickly find a new place to rent." He swiped his card at the door when suddenly a hand grabbed his neck from inside, but the talisman blocked it. The man choking him turned out to be Secretary Zhao's father. He was shocked and thought, "What's going on?" "Feeling blocked." Su Tianlin quickly grabbed his hand. Su Tianlin angrily asked, "Who are you?" He hurriedly stepped back and said, "You dare hit my son and don't even know who I am." Su Tianlin smirked and said, "Ah, so you're Zhao Tianyu's father." Suddenly, a terrifying gaze and hand appeared behind him. The old man's skillful move. "You're not allowed. Let me handle him." Su Tianlin's eyes lit up. The woman was shocked. What blocked already? Su Tianlin grabbed her finger. "Ah, how is he so strong?" Su Tianlin kicked her, flying. Zhao Tianyu's mother was slammed into the wall, spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood. Zhao Tianyu's father shouted in panic, "Wife!" Then he looked at him and said, "I want to kill you." He quickly drew a knife, his face full of rage. Su Tianlin dodged in shock. Luckily, the protective talisman kept him from being injured. He looked at Su Tianlin in surprise. "Who exactly are you?" Su Tianlin activated the bun skill, lifted a cabinet, and threw it at Zhao Tianyu's father. He couldn't dodge in time, was hit hard by the cabinet, and fell down feeling the ripped clothes from the knife wound, saying, "These two have the same skill as that assassin earlier. Really dangerous." He went to check the security cameras, but the hotel manager said the cameras on this floor were broken. So consider it a gift to that female officer. At that moment, the police arrived at the hotel where Su Tianlin was staying. The female officer looked at the hotel in front of her when suddenly someone on a skateboard rushed straight at her. "Move aside! Move aside!" The female officer was startled. It turned out the person on the skateboard was Su Tianlin. He charged toward the female officer. The crowd around started to stir. "He's attacking the police. I want to try this kind of attack too." Su Tianlin fell on top of the female officer. She blushed and pushed him away. "Why is it you again?" Su Tianlin said, "Does the police not allow skateboarding?" The female officer angrily said, "Don't get cocky. Don't be arrogant in front of the police. Don't be mad. There's a gift inside. I want to give it to you." They both went to Su Tianlin's hotel room. Inside were Zhao Tianyu's parents tied up. "These are wanted criminals." The female officer began to feel touched, thinking, "This kid really is the big gift he mentioned." What? The next day, going to rent a house, the landlord eagerly greeted Su Tianlin. "Hello, Mr. Su. The room you want to rent is over here." The woman looked haggard but wore a somewhat sinister smile. Su Tianlin worriedly thought, "Why do I have such a strange feeling? Her complexion doesn't look very good." She led him to see the room and asked, "How do you find this room?" Su Tianlin looked around and said, "It's very good. It's just that I feel like something might be wrong there. Have you noticed anything unusual here?" The landlord pressed her hands tightly in worry. "This person is too perceptive, but I can't let him know there's a ghost here." She smiled and explained, "Maybe it's because this place is too gloomy. The rent can be reduced a bit." Su Tianlin immediately agreed. That night, Su Tianlin tiredly lay on the bed. He didn't need sleep before when cultivating, but now cleaning the whole room was exhausting. Suddenly, a female figure appeared. Su Tianlin looked up and saw a ghost hovering in front of him. Su Tianlin cried out in horror, "Heavens!" He sat up, rubbed his eyes, and looked again, but there was nothing left. Although it had disappeared, he was sure it had been real. Now that I am a cultivator, I absolutely cannot have hallucinations. Su Tianlin suddenly understood, so that's why. The woman looked haggard because this room has a ghost. I have to quickly figure out how to deal with it. If this ghost wants to harm me, that would be troublesome. Just as Su Tianlin was worried, the ghost appeared again. The demon eye talisman lets me see ghosts. The exorcism talisman can drive ghosts away. The sealing talisman is used to seal them. Su Tianlin looked at the talismans and muttered, "Use the demon eye talisman first." He took a talisman from his pocket, but it was blown away by the wind. The other talismans were the same. Su Tianlin quickly hugged himself and shouted, "Su Tianlin, why is there suddenly wind like this? It's so cold." The ghost quietly looked at him. It seemed the wind was caused by it. Su Tianlin angrily said, "Damn it, this female ghost is really powerful. But I will not die here." Suo Tianlam suddenly noticed the talisman flying in front of him. That's it. He jumped up and grabbed the talisman. With this, there's a chance to win. The ghost also lunged forward to choke him. Luckily, Suo Tianlam managed to grab the Heavenly Eye talisman in time. Suo Tianlam held the talisman and chanted the spell, his eyes shining brightly. At that moment, the ghost appeared in front of him. "Mom, how can someone this ugly dare to meet people?" Suo Tianlam punched the female ghost hard in the face. "Get lost and die." That night in Suo Tianlam's newly rented room, the female ghost lay unconscious on the floor, covered in talismans. Suo Tianlam looked triumphantly at the female ghost curled up in the corner, successfully subdued. The female ghost anxiously looked at the talismans on her body. "Don't be afraid, if I have subdued you, I will not kill you. Can you speak?" The female ghost peeked out and answered, "I can. Normal people can't hear me." Suo Tianlam started asking, "Who are you? And why did you become a ghost?" "I don't remember clearly, maybe because of heavy grudges." Suo Tianlam began chanting, "Spiritual energy will reduce the grudges. I will use spiritual energy to help you." He blew out a breath of energy. Light enveloped the female ghost. "What is this? It feels so warm." The woman spoke while crying, "I remember now what happened. Please, please help me. I was killed by someone. It was a brutal death." The female ghost knelt down, begging Suo Tianlam. The female ghost narrated, "My name is Tuyet Din. Din is a student at the University of Medicine and Pharmacy. At first I lived happily loved by my parents, but then Professor Ma Xuanxin took advantage to try to assault me. Then he killed me. Boo-hoo-hoo, my death was truly tragic." Suo Tianlam clenched his fists in anger and said, "Ma Xuanxin, I will help you get revenge. At the hotel, being a university professor is the power's advantage." Suo Tianlam and the female ghost were watching Ma Xuanxin indulge himself in the hotel room. The female ghost angrily cursed the bastard Ma. "Is this how a professor should behave? Let's see how you deny this time." Suo Tianlam used his newly bought phone to record the whole act of his debauchery. Suo Tianlam kicked the door open. Ma Xuanxin panicked and shouted, "Who are you? Why are you barging in here?" Suo Tianlam looked at the girl clinging to him and asked, Were you also threatened by him?" The girl tearfully said, "Yes, he threatened that I wouldn't graduate." "You go leave this here for me. I guarantee you will graduate." The girl hurriedly grabbed her clothes and left. The bastard Ma Xuanxin shouted, "Who are you? I warn you." "I am Tuyet Din," the sobbing voice echoed. "Boo-hoo! The demon demands a life." Ma Xuanxin began to panic. "What is that voice?" "Tuyet Din. Aren't you already dead?" "Impossible, I killed you myself." Suo Tianlam recorded all his words. "Good you've confessed. Raping a student and murder both are serious crimes." Suo Tianlam said to the female ghost, "Don't be afraid, I'm here. Watch me get revenge for you. My name is Ma Xuanxin. I am a university professor." "This is a misunderstanding. You got the wrong person." The lecherous man still foolishly explained. Suo Tianlam swung his arm and knocked him flying. "How can you get the wrong person?" The bastard was tightly tied to a table with a paper and video evidence of his crimes placed there. The female officer picked up the paper and read, "Here's your second big gift. When are you going to thank me?" On the paper was Suo Tianlam's teasing message. This guy is really something. The next morning, Suo Tianlam was watching the news. A university professor named Ma was recently arrested for raping and killing a female student. The female ghost beside him cried emotionally, "Boo-hoo, my revenge is finally fulfilled." The spirit faded, revealing the beautiful face of a woman. Tuyet Din, in a maid outfit, shyly said, holding Suo Tianlam's arm, "Tuyet Din vows to serve her master like a beast of burden forever." Suo Tianlam happily said, "All right, then you come with me to pick antiques. Are you sure you can tell the difference?" "Yes, I will try." After shopping, Suo Tianlam brought the spoils home. Tweet Ding shyly asked her master, "Why did you buy so many antiques?" "You'll find out soon." Suo Thien Lam arranged the antiques on the table. Tweet Ding looked at the phone. "Wow, is this the master's treasure? Really amazing." "Of course. Don Din, your eyesight isn't bad either." The phone screen displayed a bracelet worth 12,000 yuan. "This is quite valuable. Really found a treasure." Suo Thien Lam accidentally touched Tweet Din's chest. He turned around and said, "Why is this so soft?" Suo Thien Lam suddenly realized he had done something perverted. Tweet Din covered her face, crying, Master, you're really too much." Suo Thien Lam quickly withdrew his hand. "I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to. Now there's more than 50 fairy coins. What should I buy?" Suo Thien Lam looked hesitantly at the shopping basket. "Just buy some chi condensation pellets to cultivate." Spiritual energy radiated from Suo Thien Lam. He helped her fully cultivate and break through to the 5th level of chi refinement. The next morning in the car, he and Tam Nguyen Thien were on the way to Tui Tak Kat. They needed a batch of jade to participate in the jewelry exhibition. Inside the car, Tam Nguyen Thien was discussing work with Suo Thien Lam. "That's right, Guovu going crazy is really strange. It's still under investigation. If anyone causes trouble for you, just call me." "It's okay." Suo Thien Lam smiled and looked at the car behind. He thought to himself that from his cultivation he sensed someone was watching him. Turns out it was the police. The person in the car behind sneezed. Strange, why sneeze all of a sudden? The female officer rubbed her nose and wondered, could someone be bad-mouthing me? At the market, the crowd saw Suo Thien Lam arrive and immediately buzzed, "Master Suo is here. Hurry and follow to learn." Everyone rushed after him. Suo Thien Lam carefully observed the rough stones in front of him. A police officer stood behind, supervising. Given the current situation, Suo Thien Lam still hadn't done anything special. They had to see how his material selection would turn out. Suo Thien Lam glanced at the police officer. He knew he was being watched, but didn't really care. The stone was put into the cutting machine. If Suo Thien Lam could find jade, he surely had some secret. After all, luck can't last forever. He smiled. The police officer seriously thought, sure enough, there's jade inside the stone. The crowd excitedly cheered, "Truly a master!" Just a glance and he picked perfectly. And it's a ruby. The red gem is truly transparent, the texture smooth, absolutely top quality. Could this really be just a coincidence? The police officer began to suspect. When it came to the second stone, the inspector suddenly stopped. It was completely silent around. What's going on? The police officer was curious too. Sure enough, this time there's jade inside as well. Oh my, this is the first time I've seen this type of jade. This is Phi Tui Tui Tin. The crowd exclaimed in amazement. Such a pure blue color, so enchanting. This is the top-grade Phi Tui. Tam Nguyen Thien happily hugged Suo Thien Lam. "Thien Lam, you're amazing. We will definitely win this exhibition. Not just definitely win, the jewelry of Nine Phuong has absolutely no rivals." The police officer thought silently. Looks like he really isn't an ordinary person. He turned and said, "Put him on the suspect list." The female officer observing from above said, "Understood." She started to worry. What should we do? Should we warn him? The next day in Suo Thien Lam's rented room, he was typing on the keyboard and suddenly discovered something. 8 million. Oh my, I didn't expect to have so much money. Suo Thien Lam was amazed. Haven't had anything to do these past few days. Better go home, but I don't know what gifts to bring back. Outside, cars passed by on the street. Suo Thien Lam sat in the car pondering. Time really flies. Meanwhile, at the police station, the image of the disappearing talisman was enlarged on the computer screen and played in slow motion. The police officer and a mysterious Taoist priest were examining clues. The talisman flashed and the police officer asked the Taoist master, "Do you know what this is?" The old Taoist stroked his beard and said, "If I'm not mistaken, this armor is transformed from a talisman. I wonder if the Taoist master can draw such a talisman." The police officer asked further. The old Taoist said he had only seen records in ancient books, never the real thing. He said, "I have cultivated for over 15 years and can only strengthen the body. If someone can truly draw this talisman, I am willing to take that person as my master." The police officer picked up his phone thinking, could this be created by modern technology? If so, this case temporarily has nothing to do with Suo Thien Lam. All right, temporarily stop monitoring him. the police officer ordered over the phone. The female officer saw this and immediately rejoiced. Great, that means he'll be safe. Wait, why am I worried about him? The sect leader frowned, thinking, this person probably has secrets. He didn't dare think further. The two police officers outside monitoring Suo Tianlin received orders to pause the mission. Let's retreat. Suo Tianlin saw them leave and said with a smile, finally, they're gone. He went inside to greet his parents. I'm home. Suo Tianlin's father smiled and said, Tianlin, why are you home so early? I did well at work, so the boss gave me a few days off. Suo Tianlin's mother looked at him and asked, Tianlin, is work tiring? Does the boss treat you well? Work is fine, the boss is very good to me. I bought a gift for you, Mom. Open it and see if you like it. Suo Tianlin's mother opened the gift box, took the necklace, and happily said, this gold necklace must be very expensive, right, son? Not expensive, Mom, as long as you're happy, that's enough. You just started working, don't spend recklessly like this, okay? Suo Tianlin shyly said, it's okay, Dad, I earn money to take care of the family, too. Suo Tianlin's father, sitting nearby, felt a little jealous. Has he forgotten about his old man? Suo Tianlin sat down next to him and said, don't worry, Dad, I have a gift for you, too. A delivery man at the door said, is this Mr. Suo's house? There is a package for you, please sign for it. Suo Tianlin's father went to receive the package, opened it, and inside was a brand new laptop. Suo Tianlin smiled and said, this laptop is 10 times better than the old one, Dad, feel free to use it. He immediately became happy and patted his son's shoulder. You really understand me. Lately, Dad had been playing an online game. At that moment, his younger brother also got home from school. Tianhang happily exclaimed, Brother, you're home! Suo Tianlin called his brother, and the boy rushed over to hug him tightly. Tianhang, I bought you a new bike. Now you'll have a bike to go to school, okay? The younger brother kissed Suo Tianlin to thank him. Suo Tianlin ruffled his little brother's hair. Tianhang always used his old bike, which was almost completely broken. That's why he was often late to school and laughed at by friends, but he never said anything. Sometimes I noticed it too. At mealtime, the family ate happily, chatting and laughing. The new bike Suo Tianlin bought for his brother was parked under a tree. Suo Tianlin whistled as he cleaned up 8 chopsticks on the table. Tianhang walked in with a dirty face. I'm home. Suo Tianlin immediately noticed, what's wrong, Tianhang? Did someone hit you? The boy quickly covered his face. I'm okay. If anything happened, just tell me, I'll take care of it for you. Tianhang shook his head. Nothing happened, brother. Suo Tianlin immediately realized his brother was lying, looking at the bike outside, which had a flat tire. He was sure this matter wasn't simple. Inside the house, Suo Tianlin went into his father's room. Dad, Tianhang got beaten. Do you know who did it? Suo Tianlin asked while walking. His father wasn't very sure. Seems like a kid from the next class named Li Ming. Suo Tianlin got angry. Li Ming, what's the story, Dad? Li Ming is the son of Li Guoqiang, the steel factory owner. They're rich and often bully others because of their power, Suo Tianlin's father said sadly. Suo Tianlin frowned and shouted, we can't just ignore Tianhang getting beaten like this. Suo Tianlin's father held his head in despair. Li Guoqiang has some backing from a corporation and connections with the underworld. Suo Tianlin rubbed his chin. So that's why, Dad. He waved his hand to stop him. Don't act rashly. Let's go talk to Tianhang first. Suo Tianlin went outside and stood at his brother's door, then stepped in. Tianhang, why didn't you tell me what happened? After all, I have more experience than you. Tianhang was packing his books into his bag, looking very sad. Suddenly, the boy burst into tears. Li Ming is jealous of me because I have a new bike, so he slashed my tire and hit me. Don't get involved in this. We can't get mixed up with them. Don't interfere in this matter. We can't get involved with them. I'm fine. So Thien Lam rubbed his younger brother's head. I know. You should quickly go study. In So Thien Lam's hand was a talisman, his face full of anger. How dare you bully my little brother Lai Min Lai Kwok Kong? Let's see how tough you really are. So Thien Lam used the invisibility talisman to go to his younger brother's classroom. He walked in and looked at Li Ming. Such a nice seat, no wonder you can buy even magic with money. Sho Tianlin went to the kid's spot, saw him watching a movie, and exclaimed, "Isn't this a psycho murder movie? So young and already watching this kind of movie looks like you need to be taught a lesson." On the phone screen was a bloody murder scene. Tianlin immediately yanked the earphones off. A terrified scream echoed throughout the classroom. "Ah!" Li Min was sweating cold. The teacher at the podium angrily said, "Li Min, stand up. What are you doing during class?" Li Min stood up and the teacher contemptuously said, "Stand there until the class is over." So Thien Lum raised his leg and kicked him. Li Min's head hit the desk. He angrily looked toward the classmate behind him. "Do you want to die?" "It really wasn't me, not me." At this moment, the teacher could no longer hold back. "Li Min, what are you doing?" "Standing up and making noise," Li Min crazily shouted. "Shut up, don't lecture me." "Do you want me to tell my dad to fire you?" So Thien Lum looked at him with amusement. "Oh, you dare to insult the teacher!" So Thien Lum raised his hand and slapped Li Min, knocking out a tooth. Li Min held his face angrily and shouted around, "Who did this? Come out here!" The whole class fell silent, everyone sweating cold, afraid of being called out. So Thien Lum grabbed his hand and forced him to slap himself. The class looked at Li Min like a clown and burst out laughing, "Ha ha ha." The teacher ordered the students to quickly hold him back. "He's gone mad, I'll go call his parents." So Thien Lum laughed triumphantly, "Ha ha, not disciplining your child is a big sin. All right, let me teach your dad a lesson." The students eagerly pinned Li Min down. "Let me go." Li Min's father, Li Kwok-kung, hurriedly ran over. "You all let my son go now." He ran to his son and asked with concern, "Are you okay?" At that moment, So Thien Lum grabbed the boy's hand and punched Li Kwok-kung's face hard. Li Kwok-kung's nose bled heavily from his son's blow. He angrily shouted, "Are you crazy? You even hit your own dad?" Li Min trembled and said, "Dad, it wasn't me. It really wasn't me." So Thien Lum kicked Li Kwok-kung's leg, causing him to fall to the ground. Li Kwok-kung also yelled madly, "Don't think you can scare me." "Who was that just now? Step forward." So Thien Lum pushed Li Min down. Li Kwok-kung immediately misunderstood it was his son. He cursed loudly, "Damn it, raising you was a waste, ungrateful bastard. You even dare to hit me." Li Min was held by So Thien Lum with both hands raised, crying, "Dad, it really wasn't me. I don't want to hit you. Please move away." Li Min's hands were controlled by So Thien Lum to repeatedly hit Li Kwok-kung's face. He angrily said, "You're crazy." Li Kwok-kung's face was bruised and he shouted at the students, "Are you all stupid? Quick, stop him." The teacher quickly stopped the students. "Everyone step back. Mr. Li, we would never bully your son." The teacher took out his phone and said, "Mr. Li, let me help you call the police." Li Kwok-kung couldn't take it anymore and shouted, "What are you waiting for? Call 911 now." The police and ambulance arrived at that moment. The police handcuffed Li Min. 2 officers escorted the kid while discussing, "So now we're taking him to a mental hospital." Li Ming said, "I'm not sick. I'm not going to the hospital." "You're not sick, but you hit your dad." "If you're not sick, a visit to the hospital wouldn't hurt." So Thien Lum smiled victoriously. "This is just the beginning." The police car left. The students cheered, "Awesome. Finally got rid of that guy. Let's celebrate." In the hospital, Li Kwok-kung was lying in bed. He saw someone visiting. "Why are you here?" "Please help me with my son's situation." Vice President Tran smiled slyly. "It's a small matter. You just focus on recovering. I'll handle your son's case." So Thien Lum watched him leave the room. The next step must be dealt with. He confidently smiled. "Looks like it's time to switch to work mode." At the company, So Thien Lum stealthily stood next to Vice President Tran. He saw him playing the game Prince vs. Zombie. Vice President Tran was truly busy. Suddenly, he opened a folder on his computer full of his own explicit photos. So Thien Lum sneered, "So blinded, all pornographic photos. I can't even look at this." Vice President Tran looked lecherous and immediately left the room. "Looking at this reminds me of my little treasure. Good opportunity. With these things I can deal with him." So Thien Lum immediately plugged in the USB, ha ha. Sensitive sounds from the video played. "Why so fast? 1 minute already and it's not working." So Thien Lum pulled out the USB. The footsteps had disappeared by then. So Thien Lum wiped sweat, breathing a sigh of relief. That was close. I wonder if he'll die if this stuff gets exposed. The computer screen showed uploading at 34%. Look at that bar, it seems like he really caused trouble. And still dared to go outside. He's asking for it. Vice Chairman Tran was engrossed in admiring a beauty, unaware of what was happening. As he and his mistress left, the police immediately stopped them. "Go, do you know who I am to dare block my way?" The police officer said, "Vice Chairman Tran, you are suspected of embezzlement, bribery, and abuse of power. Please come to the police station for investigation." He angrily threw a punch. "Nonsense! How dare you slander me?" The former policeman easily blocked his punch, then escorted him to the station. All his criminal evidence had been posted online. "If you don't want others to know, then don't be his mistress." Fearfully fleeing, Vice Chairman Tran broke into a cold sweat and said anxiously, "How can this be?" A voice from the small apartment unknown who said, "So powerful, making Hero Tran fall from grace." Thien Lum's father happily added, "Lai Min got expelled too, right?" "Really impressive." Thien Lam thought silently, "I wonder what my parents will think if they find out." "Mr. Tran, hurry up and finish eating, then change into something nicer before going to the company. A son can't be sloppy." Thien Lum's father hurriedly stood up. You talk too much." Sitting in the car, both were very excited. Just thinking about it was moving. First time going to the company, son must stay calm. Stay calm. The bus suddenly braked hard. The driver looked at the car in front. "What's going on?" The driver exclaimed, "Lucky I reacted fast." The bus door suddenly burst open. A gun was pointed at the driver's face. The masked robber said, "This is a robbery, hands up." They rushed onto the bus shouting, "Everyone freeze hands up, or don't blame me if the bullets don't have eyes." Everyone on the bus panicked and screamed. Thien Lam quickly shielded his parents behind him. "Don't be afraid, I'm here. Quiet, I hate noise. If anyone yells again, I'll shoot. Hurry up and take out all the money. Step aside or I'll shoot." Everyone hurriedly put watches, jewelry, and phones into bags. Seeing the situation, Thien Lam thought he must not get hurt, but the problem was his parents and others. So the most important things were the gun and the right timing. Very good, quite a haul. I'm not kidding, but you passengers are really cowards." The robber laughed. "No one has guts at all." Thien Lam smiled secretly. He'd show him what guts really are later. The bald guy shouted, "Get off the bus quickly, all of you get off now!" Everyone got off one by one. Parents slowly. "Everyone be careful." Thien Lam's father worriedly said, "What are you planning?" "Don't be reckless." Thien Lam looked at the robbers, thinking it was time to teach them a lesson. He jumped in front of the leader and threw a punch. "Oh my God, is this human speed?" The robbers were terrified. Thien Lam grabbed the leader and threw him toward his comrades. Lightning fast, he beat them up. The police arrived to arrest them. "Don't let them escape." The passengers whispered in disbelief. "Heaven only bows to this hero." "Let me kneel to the great hero," the crowd shouted. "He's the son of those two." How did they raise such an outstanding son? Truly admirable. Everyone surrounded Thien Lam's parents, praising him, saying he had really matured. He really is a good son to his parents. Thien Lam's father proudly praised him. Standing in front of the company, he introduced himself. "Dad, Mom, this is where I work." "The company is so big, am I really a manager here?" The company staff greeted warmly, "Hello, Director So." "Director So has arrived." Thien Lam is so talented, really proud of him. Thien Lam's parents looked at him, hearts full of happiness. Parents. "Your office is on the 5th floor, sharing a room with the CEO. The general director is the highest leader here." Thien Lam. "You share a room with the general director. Such a talented son." Thien Lam introduced, "Mom, Dad, this is my general director, Director Tam." Thien Tien. "These are my parents today. I'm bringing them to visit." "Hello, Director Tam. Thank you for taking care of our son." "Thank you, Director Tam." Tom Nguyen Tien said, "Uncle Auntie, just call me Thien Thien. Lam has helped the company a lot. I should be the one thanking you two." Thien Lam's mother shyly said, "Is that okay, Thien Thien?" "Please sit down, I'll pour the tea. You've already troubled me enough." Thien Lam's parents wondered, "What's the relationship between you and Thien Thien? She doesn't look like your superior. She seems a bit formal." Thien Lam awkwardly said, "What are you talking about, Mom and Dad? We just have a boss-subordinate relationship." Dad. "Don't you believe a general director can have a boyfriend yet? Director Tam could be my daughter-in-law." Just then, Tam and Nguyen Tien brought in the tea. "Uncle Auntie, please have some tea. You must be tired after the long trip. Rest a bit. When you feel refreshed, you can continue the tour." "We're not tired. We just ran into some robbers on the way." Yes. Luckily, Thien Lam handled those robbers," Tham Nguyen Tien said admiringly. "Thien Lam is amazing, makes you feel safe." Thien Lam's parents looked at each other and smiled. Success. We really are lucky helpers." At the police station, the officers were discussing clues about the case. This case is fake. Damn it, the trail is lost again. Two officers passed by, chatting. That kid is really impressive. He single-handedly subdued 5 armed robbers. Exactly, he must have martial arts training. The chief frowned thoughtfully, suddenly stood up and said, "You two come here." 2 young officers worriedly asked, "Captain, what is it?" "What were you just talking about, an armed robbery?" A young man subdued 5 robbers. "All passengers on the bus are safe. Is that person Su Thien Lam?" The chief gently asked, "Yes, Captain, how do you know?" Mevuke blushed, thinking, there's really nothing he can't do. The chief frowned and said, "Guoyu's case is special, no evidence. We have to fabricate evidence to arrest Su Thien Lam." Mevuke suspiciously asked, "How do we fabricate it?" The officer sitting next to her suddenly stood up and said, "Let me. If I can subdue him, immediately force him to confess. If he resists, we can arrest him on the spot." The chief smiled and said, Right, charge him." Mevuke worriedly stood up and asked, "Is that okay, Captain?" The officer patted his chest and said, "I'm sure this guy definitely has something wrong." The chief ordered, "Let him go." Mevuke frowned, worried. After seeing his parents home, Su Thien Lam also left. Suddenly, Mevuke called. Su Thien Lam answered while walking. "Police, me." "Why are you calling me, missing me already?" Mevuke said worriedly, "I have something to tell you." After telling about the police station incident, Mevuke reminded, "So you have to be careful." "No worries, I'll handle it." Su Thien Lam hung up confidently, smiling. "Haha, want to test me? Just try. I'll teach you a lesson." In Su Thien Lam's room, Tuyet Din Din, dressed as a maid, welcomed him home. "Master was work hard today." Su Thien Lam smiled happily and thanked her. Knock, knock. Su Thien Lam smiled, looking toward the door, and said, "Oh, that fast. They're here already." Tweet Ding Jing asked worriedly, "Master, do you know who it is?" Outside, 2 men looked fierce. So Thien Lam opens the door. "What do you two need?" Outside, 2 police officers say, "Tell us, how did you drive Guo Wu crazy?" So Thien Lam reveals a sinister expression and says, "Brains are a good thing, but unfortunately you don't have any." Offended, the police officer angrily grabs So Thien Lam's shoulder, suddenly realizing something is off. "What's going on?" Su Thien Lam easily grabbed his hand and smiled confidently. The terrified police officer, "With such great power, are you even human?" The other officer charged at Suo Tianlin, but was quickly pushed back. The police began to fear, is this a monster? "I am this year's champion in fighting." Suo Tianlin disdainfully turned back to his room. "With just this little skill, you dare cause trouble. Don't you know your own limits?" Closing the door, he seriously thought, "It seems I'm being followed." In the building across, the director and Mevuke were watching Suo Tianlin through binoculars. Mevuke worriedly thought, "I hope he's okay. Ding Ding, please go out and deal with them." Zuiding Ding raised her hand to signal okay and said, "Yes, sir." She immediately passed through the door and went outside. 2 angry police officers knocked on the door. Opening the door, Shui Ding Ding's eyes flashed devilishly, blinding the 2 officers. Her magic caused them to fall into a hallucination. A beautiful woman appeared in the officer's hallucination and said, "Honey, I'm home. Honey, I missed you so much." The officer hugged the face of the wife in the hallucination and moved closer, but there was nothing there. He was just calling out, "Honey." Shui Ding Ding covered her mouth and giggled. Then suddenly the hallucination disappeared. The 2 officers looked confused, not understanding what had happened. The director angrily shouted, "What's going on here?" Mevuke smiled, thinking to herself, "This guy is really rotten." At the Xuanthen jewelry exhibition, a lady stepped out of a car and walked confidently on the red carpet. Around her, people started whispering and gossiping. Suo Tianlin and Shen Nguyen, dressed fashionably, walked into the building. Someone mocked, "The Shen family dares to show up here." "Yeah, coming here just to lose face." Shen Nguyen sadly said, "These people are ridiculous. Just keep comforting Tian Tian and ignore them. If only everyone had a brain." "Isn't that Shen Nguyen and Suo Tianlin?" Li Yuan linked arms with Tran Dan Sin. Someone sneered, "We're ready, don't cry later, okay?" Suo Tianlin frowned and looked at them. "Who's going to cry? You don't know yet." Suddenly, footsteps sounded behind them. Tran Dan Sin turned around. The vice president of the Jewelry Association had arrived. Tran Dan Sin pointed at Suo Tianlin and said, "This is the one who forced Mr. Quachvu's nephew to kneel and apologize." Vice President Lu Qianhua sneered, "So it's just a brat." He pushed his glasses up, glanced at Suo Tianlin, then said, If you come to Mr. Quach Vu and bow your head 100 times, I'll let this slide. Otherwise, Tin Dao An will have no place for you to stay. Suo Tianlin confidently laughed. Oh, you want to cover the sky with one hand? Suo Tianlin calmly walked past him. Nguyet Tian, I'm going to the restroom for a moment. Lu Qianhua raised an eyebrow at Suo Tianlin, sneering bitterly. Yeah, let's see what you can do to me. Suo Tianlin was Lu Qianhua's nightmare. Nguyet Tian faced him and said, This is my matter, you don't need to care. Miss Shen, I advise you to stay away from people who don't know their place. Suddenly he screamed in pain, Oh my God, what's happening? Lu Qianhua looked down to see his pants soaking wet. The crowd around laughed mockingly. Looks like he peed his pants. What a shame for the vice president. Lu Qianhua trembled and collapsed to the ground, embarrassed, shouting, What are you looking at? Get out of here. Tran Dan Sing and Li Yuanyuan looked at him with disgust. Lu Qianhua sat in his puddle of urine, angrily yelling, Little Tran, quickly find someone to take me home. People around took photos of him peeing his pants. So interesting. Haha, great shots, post them quickly. Post them quickly, post on the Xuantan Forum. The vice president of the Jewelry Association peed his pants, and Suo Tianlin used Lu Qianhua's hair as a charm, making him too ashamed to face anyone. Now Tianlin looked at his phone, smiling with satisfaction. The exhibition began, divided into 3 zones. The booths were still secret. No one had seen the actual displays yet, and everyone was very excited. The female MC held the mic and introduced, Hello everyone, I'm the host of today's exhibition. The booths will soon open. Let's all look forward to it. The red cloth was pulled down, and the crowd gasped in amazement. Oh my God, I must be dreaming. A sparkling green 6-jewel jade appeared. A woman suddenly shouted, Jade level 6 is classified as the highest grade of glass among the best who still dares to say the Tam family is no good. So this is it. Let's see if I can beat her to death. Everyone looked at the young lady with envious eyes. She really was bullying others. Exactly, how can there be such a precious level 6 jade? So Thien Lam and Tam Nguyet Tian shyly said, No, hey. Tran Dan Sin and La Vian looked at them with jealous eyes. Damn it, how can level 6 jade glass be like that? Didn't they cut off her supply already? Fake, definitely fake. Li Vian gritted her teeth. My level 6 jade is the best. She's stolen all my spotlight. Tham Nguyet Tian, you bastard. Suddenly the glass window was shot and shattered. Someone kicked the window open and jumped in. They fired warning shots into the air. The others also pointed guns at the people in the hall. The crowd immediately panicked. So Thien Lam draped his cloak over Tam Nguyet Tian. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Tham Nguyet Tian looked at So Thien Lam with deep emotion. Thien Lam, you're so reliable. Tran Dan Sing was so scared he broke out in cold sweat, trembling and hiding in a corner. Li Vian saw Tran Dan Sin so frightened and couldn't help but panic too. She frantically said, I lost again, useless. Tran Dan Sin, leading with a gun, said, We're robbing jewels, don't call the police. If we get the goods, we'll leave. If you call the police, it's over. Everyone raised their hands, squatted down, handed over their phones. The terrified crowd whispered, What should we do now? I'm so scared they have guns. This time we're dead for sure. The leader frowned. He shot a man in the leg. The man cried out in pain, Ah, my leg! Everyone around showed horror. So Thien Lam frowned, thinking. He wasn't scared himself, but had to consider the others. What's wrong, Thien? So Thien Lam handed her some talismans. Take these amulets, protection, thunder, and light. Tam Nguyet Tian saw So Thien Lam was serious and became worried. Strange. The robbers split into 3 groups. One guarded outside, one controlled the hostages. The rest tried to grab the jewels from the display case. So Thien Lam propped his chin, thinking. This operation was very methodical. It showed they were very experienced. Must be careful. A robber hurried over, shouting, Police are coming! The leader sneered, Yeah, someone called the cops, so I can't guarantee your safety anymore. He gave a signal. The others immediately raised their guns at the crowd. Panic and screams. Outside the building was surrounded by police. The chief officer held a megaphone and said, Everyone inside, listen up. You are surrounded. Drop your weapons and surrender immediately. The robber raised his gun and shouted, Yeah, don't joke around. He immediately fired, shattering the police chief's speaker. Inside the building, the robber said calmly, Anyway, the police are here now. Might as well go big. Everyone's faces showed fear. A perverted robber lunged at a beautiful girl. Let me love you. The girl cried, No, help me. He quickly grabbed her. They didn't even spare the men. A robber grabbed a man and kissed him repeatedly. Help me. Let me go. Tom Nguyen Tien covered her mouth in horror. So Thien Lam patted her shoulder to comfort her. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Another robber approached Li Vien Vien. Come with me or I'll drag you. No, stay away from her. Angry. She glared at Tran Dan Sin and scolded, Tran Dan Sin, are you even a man? The robber mocked Tran Dan Sin, patting his head. Tell me, are you a man or not? Tran Dan Sin tearfully stammered, I'm not a man. I'm not a man. Don't kill me. Li Vien Vien grit her teeth. Tran Dan Sin, you're useless. She immediately kicked him in the crotch. Tran Dan Sin writhed in pain. La Vien Vien crossed her arms calmly and said to the robber, I'll go with you. She pointed at Tom Nguyen Tien and said, Oh, right, she's my sister. Or we could all hang out together. The robber excitedly said, All right. Tom Nguyen Tien looked at her angrily. La Vien Vien, you're so fake. La Vien Vien sneered. Isn't your bastard man supposed to be tough? Why don't you have him protect you? He looks like a turtle pulling its head in. Does he dare to stand up and take the risk? So Thien Lam quietly clenched the talisman. I just exchanged for a higher-level talisman in the Great Dream Mansion on WeChat. This talisman can cause anyone within 100 meters to fall into a dream, but only for 10 minutes. He shielded Tom Nguyen Tien standing behind him. If anyone dares to touch her, I will immediately use the Great Dream Suppression. Just give me time. The robber sneered. Trying to be a hero and save the beauty. I'll count to 3. Kneel immediately or I'll shoot you. He aimed the gun at So Thien Lam. Tham Nguyen Tien anxiously said, Thien Lam, don't act rashly. So Thien Lam coldly said, I'm not agitated. I am her bodyguard. Of course I have to protect her. Tham Nguyen Tien blushed, touched, and moved. So Thien Lam, Taya, time's up. The robber pulled the trigger. So Thien Lam quickly dodged. Tham Nguyen Tien caught So Thien Lam. So Thien Lam, are you okay? Don't worry. I'm fine. The robber laughed excitedly. Not bad, kid. So Thien Lam smirked. Goodbye. The Great Dream Talisman was activated. The robbers hit by the Great Dream Talisman fainted and fell into a dream. People around also began to be affected, feeling naturally sleepy, so sleepy, wanting to sleep. Heavy eyelids. Even Tam Nguyen Tien couldn't hold on. Yawning, then falling asleep. So Thien Lam gently carried her and laid her down, saying, Rest assured and sleep. You'll be fine when you wake up. So Thien Lam excitedly rolled his shoulders, ready to teach these robbers a lesson. Bastards! Let me teach you how to be human! He threw a powerful punch at the robber's face, sending him flying along with the gang behind him. The whole group of robbers was defeated by him. At this moment, the police chief outside held a megaphone and said, Everyone inside, listen up. You are surrounded. Put down your weapons and surrender immediately. In response to his threat was a terrifying silence. The police chief was confused. What's going on? Why is there no sound? So, Thien Lam clapped his hands and breathed a sigh of relief. Yeah, it's over. Activated camouflage mode. Everyone started rubbing their eyes, waking up. Did I just doze off? What just happened? They looked around in panic and saw the robbers all knocked unconscious. What's going on? Why did they suddenly all faint like this? Yeah, really strange. Tom and Nguyen Tien also woke up worriedly looking for So Thien Lam. So Thien Lam waved at her. I'm here. Tom Nguyen Tien ran to So Thien Lam and asked, Are you okay? So Thien Lam's eyes sparkled proudly. A handsome man like me is obviously fine. Tom Nguyen Tien blushed and quickly pulled her hand away from his chest. Sorry. So Thien Lam scratched his head awkwardly. It's okay. Everyone in the building hurriedly ran outside. The robbers are unconscious. Everyone run. The police chief was surprised. The hostages ran out already. Yet he looked at the two rushing out and asked, What happened inside? The robbers fainted. You guys go in and arrest them. The police chief frowned, thinking, fainting unbelievable, not scientific at all. Leave one person to wait for orders. The rest follow me. Police with guns entered the building. Seeing the robbers lying unconscious on the floor, said, Quick, arrest them. This is really strange. The robbers lay still as if knocked out. Could it be hypnosis? The police chief frowned, saying, no way hypnosis. It requires cooperation from the other side. Needs a quiet environment. Give me the list of people attending the exhibition today. Police hurried to the captain. Found it. The name So Thin Lum is on the guest list. The police chief was surprised. It's him again. Meanwhile, in the car, Tom Nguyen Thin shyly said, Thin Lum, I still don't feel at ease. She helped So Thin Lum take off his coat and said, I think I saw you got shot. Let me check. So Thin Lum, no, you're mistaken. Their shooting was poor. They didn't hit us. So Thin Lum blushed. Oh, why get so close? The driver saw the two lovers and softly reminded, you two be careful, this is a public place. So Thin Lum and Tam Nguyen Tien blushed deeply and said in unison, no, it's not what you think. Morning fresh air in So Thin Lum's rented house, he sat on the bed, closed his eyes, and focused. A magic circle appeared using spiritual energy to refine his cultivation to the 8th level of chi refining stage. So Thin Lum's face was serious as he clenched his fists, put on his clothes, and left the house, unable to calmly go to work anymore. Tweet Ding Ding hurriedly flew out to see him off. Goodbye, master. At the company, someone entered the office smiling as he introduced himself. Hello, Mr. Suo, I am Ma Yiming, sent by the Wuguan master. Ma Yiming looked at him, silently admiring his DNA H value. This person was full of spiritual energy, truly a great god among great gods. Looking at him, Tianlin wondered, where did this person come from? What is his purpose? Suo Tianlin gave a polite smile and welcomed him. Unexpected to meet a cultivator. Elder Ma, please have a seat. Ma Yiming sat down and said, I feel Mr. Suo has reached the chi refining late stage, truly a rare talent. I wish to apprentice under you. What do you think? Suo Tianlin rubbed his chin thinking, he praises me highly, but taking disciples is a big step. Maybe I should consider it carefully. It might not be suitable. He clasped his hands shyly and said, yes, I have a request. For many years I have been unable to break through to chi refining tier 2. Does the master have spiritual energy around you? Would you allow me to cultivate nearby? Suo Tianlin blushed from the compliment and scratched his head. No problem at all, thank you, master. I will use a suitable identity to come. Seeing Ma Yiming so respectful, Suo Tianlin felt a little embarrassed. The next day at the company, Shen Yueqian was surprised. This gentleman, may I ask if you are Ma Yiming? Ma Yiming smiled and said, I have come to be Mr. Suo's secretary. The market says you are him, but as a secretary. He turned and said, yes, I am going to work now, master. Goodbye. Suo Tianlin saw him arrive and said, sit down, I still have some work. You can cultivate meanwhile. Ma Yiming quietly sat down to cultivate. He thought this situation seemed strange. An old man becoming a secretary felt like opening a door to a new world. After work outside the company, the sky began to darken. Thank you, master. I have some status in Xuancheng. If anything happens, just let me know. He handed Suo Tianlin his business card, which read, Ma Yiming, president of the Wuguan Taoist Association. Oh, Suo Tianlin frowned and said, that reminds me, my friend loves collecting antiques. Ma Yiming nodded and said, leave this matter to me. That evening in Suo Tianlin's room, Tianlin looked at the pile of antiques Ma Yiming had sent and happily said, the old gentleman works very quickly. Zhu Dinding was also excited and said, wow, master, these are treasures. Indeed, in this world, the only hard thing is the rich. After appraisal, instead of using the shop, better to ask friends in the immortal realm. This matter is truly admirable. The phone screen showed a recent friends list: Wugong Immortal Princess Henge Jade Rabbit and Leo Dongson, who likes management. Suo Tianlin smiled slyly, casting a net to catch fish. Let's see what happens. Zhu Dinding blushed excitedly. Master is incredibly clever. No blind spots. Master, tell me who would accept normal male immortals have a better chance than Princess Henge. After all, she is the dream lover of many, and would surely refuse outright. A minute later, Suo Tianlin shouted, Princess Henge, I have accepted your friend request, now we can chat. Zhu Dinding's eyes widened. It must be a fake Henge. Suo Tianlin tapped the profile photo and the phone screen emitted a brilliant light. Immortal Princess Henge heard the noise and turned to ask someone. Now Tianlin and Shui Dinding looked at each other in amazement. Did you see that? Immortal Princess Henge said warily. Who dares to barge into Guanghan Palace? Do you know the severity of your crime? Marshal Tianbong has already been turned into a pig. You are truly bold. Now Tianlin whispered to Shui Dinding, could it be that these immortal maidens don't have phones and don't know what WeChat is? Very possible, but if I add Hangi, would she be able to see me? Suo Tianlin reached out to touch immortal Princess Hangi, his hand passing through space to where she stood. What is this? Suo Tianlin said with a mischievous look. Trying to catch me. If you catch me, I'll give myself to you. Shui Dinding worriedly touched her forehead. Master, what's wrong? Why so hot? Suo Tianlin blushed and said, I'm fine, kids, don't ask so many questions. Master's hand reached deeper. Let's try the whole body, see if it works. Sure enough, he successfully passed through. Suo Tianlin suddenly appeared before immortal Princess Hangi. Immortal Princess. Hangi blushed and lowered her voice. What kind of deity is this? Such a magical spell without any aura, even the Jade Emperor wouldn't detect it. The Jade Rabbit of the Fairy Princess angrily looked at the owner. This guy is dressed weirdly and dares to storm into Guanghan Palace really bold. Suo Tianlin laughed and said, My family background is not convenient to disclose, Fairy Princess. You just need to allow me free access to Guanghan Palace. Fairy Chang'e covered the rabbit's mouth and said, Free access. Do you think Guanghan Palace belongs to just anyone? Suddenly, an old man holding an axe approached and swung it down at Suo Tianlin. The old man was shocked. How did this happen? Which deity is he? Unwilling, he raised his axe again, wondering if Wu Gang could really split the great La Golden Immortal in half. How could he lose to this kid? Suo Tianlin got hit, but didn't care, thinking, sorry with Super WeChat. I can do whatever I want. Actually, this is just my shadow. Wu Gang angrily said, How is that possible? I have to let you know that I'm not easy to bully. Go ahead and chop as long as you're happy. Suo Tianlin looked at Fairy Chang'e and said, Haha, your neighbor really lacks brains. Just let him chop slowly. I'll come again next time. The fairy looked at him confused. Then, after saying goodbye, Suo Tianlin disappeared. Wu Gong couldn't believe it and left quietly wondering what kind of deity is he really. Fairy Chang'e blushed and smiled silently, thinking this person. Shui Dingding saw Suo Tianlin return and immediately came to greet him. Master, you can talk with the fairy and even video call. But how did you become friends with Chang'e? Yeah, I don't understand, either can't explain clearly. Suddenly, Suo Tianlin thought of something and checked Chang'e's friend circle for clues. Master Dingding reported, I admire Fairy Chang'e's friend circle. It's the lonely moon. All pictures of the moon and flowers, same for today and yesterday. Master, I have a new discovery. All of Chang'e's posts were made through WeChat. Surprisingly, she's that clever. Very good, very good. Suo Tianlin praised, looking at her. If the fairy didn't want new friends, I couldn't have succeeded. Sister Chang'e lives every day in cold loneliness, so it's easy for her to accept friend requests. Sleepy going to bed now, wish Master a good night. Outside the building where Suo Tianlin lives, police cars have arrived. Suo Tianlin, you're surrounded. He startled awake as the police loudspeaker blared, Surrender, now you have no way out. Police cars packed outside the building. Attention. This is not a drill, Suo Tianlin, you are surrounded. Hand over the mutant phone immediately. The police chief shouted loudly through the speaker. Suo Tianlin gritted his teeth. Damn it, what should I do? Let Suo Tianlin have some glory here. Hiding behind the window, he felt extremely panicked and quickly looked around. Oh no, no weapon at all, am I done for? Suddenly, Suo Tianlin thought of something. He ran to pick up his flip-flops. That's it. Police broke down the door. The chief pointed a gun at his head. Hands up, don't move. Suo Tianlin feared and thought, it's over this time, it's really over. Another officer found the phone. Captain found it good, withdraw. Suo Tianlin frowned in surprise, then rushed to the balcony and jumped down. Don't run, the police shouted back. The next day, TV news reported recent police breakthroughs investigating a mutant phone. Suo Tianlin hid in the shadows watching the news, snorted, I won't give up easily, I must take back the phone. Police fired and shouted, holding the building tightly. Don't let him steal the phone. Suo Tianlin quickly dodged bullets and rushed forward, knocking down a policeman. Another officer was also knocked down. Someone tried to sneak attack from behind, but Suo Tianlin was alert. He quickly spun and kicked that person. Suddenly, a gun was pointed at Suo Tianlin's head. At this moment, the police had surrounded him. He was not allowed to move. The police chief smiled smugly. Suo Tianlin's attempt to steal the mutant phone failed. He even attacked the police. This time it's hard for him to escape death by execution on the spot. Sweat poured down Suo Tianlin like a shower. He was tied to a pole, breathing weakly. The chief raised his gun, aiming at him. Goodbye, bang. A meow startled him awake. It turned out it was all just a dream. Hu Hu Shui Ding Ding worriedly asked her master, "Are you okay?" "Having a nightmare." Suo Tianlin covered his face and said, "It was just a dream." "Oh my God, this dream feels so real!" Suo Tianlam suddenly remembered what Mai Vu Ke had said about that special task force captain involved in the ongoing investigation. Suo Tianlam anxiously looked at his phone. He had been monitored by the police before. If they find out this phone isn't protected by me, the phone is too weak. I have to think of a new plan. Suo Tianlam sat silently staring at the phone. Suddenly he looked up and shouted, "Tu di mat tu!" Tweet Ding Jing tilted her head, not understanding what tu di mat tu meant. Suo Tianlam explained, "This is a Buddhist reference. It refers to Mount 2D, the container mountain. It means the mysterious Buddhist teachings." Tuyet Din Din listened carefully and memorized it. Suo Tianlam picked up his phone and searched the WeChat store. There must be something like this. Volume of 30,000 cubic meters. It can hold a lot of stuff. The Con ring has a space 10 jangs high, wide, and long or more. Price 120, buy now. Suo Tianlam decided to click purchase. First, buy the Con ring, the rest can wait. The urgent matter is to solve the phone's safety issue. The owner is right. The Con ring appeared. Suo Tianlam put the ring on his hand. He rubbed Tweet Din Din's head. "All right, I'm off to work. Bye-bye," saying goodbye to the owner. At Nguyen Thien Company worried, he thought, "I didn't expect Thien Lam's new secretary to be the president of the Taoist Association." Ma Nyat Min opened the door and walked into Suo Thien Lam's office, and Ma Nyat Min quietly sat on the chair listening to his father say, "Mr. Ma is a big shot. Thien Lam is really impressive. What doesn't he know?" Thien Lam said, "Tonight a friend of mine is throwing a birthday party. Can you come with me?" Suo Thien Lam bowed and replied, "Of course. It's an honor for me." At a villa, the car stopped. Tham Nguyen Tien stepped out. Su Tien Lam and Tham Nguyen Tien, dressed neatly, appeared. Everyone immediately paid attention to the two. Tham Nguyen Tien's friend came to greet them. "Nguyen Tien is here. Is this your boyfriend?" "No, this is my friend and colleague." Suo Thien Lam bowed politely. "Hello, I'm Suo Thien Lam." "Hi, I'm Lai Dan." Lai Dan whispered, "Everyone pay attention. Don't let anyone misunderstand. Feng Ho is here too." Lai Dan teased with a smile. Feng Ho is Thien Thien's high school classmate. He once pursued Thien Thien, but she didn't agree. "So Thien Thien was waiting for you." When teased, Tam Nguyen Thien shyly said, Dan, don't talk nonsense." Then Chow Chow came over. "Thien Thien, long time no see, how have you been?" Tam Nguyen Thien replied shyly. Feng Ho said, "Hi, I'm good. I heard you're about to become a police officer in Xuanthen." Feng Ho laughed and said, "Yeah, since I was little I decided to follow my father's footsteps and now I finally made it." Li Dan glanced sideways at him and said, "Don't make it sound so great. I think it's thanks to your dad that your police career looks so bright." Suo Thien Lam held out his hand and said, "Enough, let's go inside, ladies." Feng Ho frowned as they left. That pale-faced guy Thien Thien is cold to me because of him. Just wait." At the party, Lai Dan whispered a warning to Thien Lam. "You have to watch out for Feng Ho. He's not easy to deal with." "Why?" "Because of Thien Thien." Lai Dan explained that Feng Ho's father is the deputy chief and with one phone call he can bring you trouble. This kind of person doesn't hold back. You have to be careful. Suo Thien Lam laughed and said, "Thanks for the warning, but I'm not afraid of this kind of person." Lai Dan's eyes sparkled as she looked at him, stunningly beautiful and outspoken. Thien Thien really found a god. Suo Thien Lam sat outside drinking water to rest when a can of beer was placed on the table. Feng Ho provocatively looked at Suo Thien Lam. "Buddy, have a few drinks with me." He showed a sinister smile, thinking, "I've slipped poison into the beer. Once he drinks it, he'll go crazy, and then Thien Thien will be mine." "Sorry I don't drink beer." "What if I insist you drink?" Suo Thien Lam laughed mockingly. "What I want to do, no one can stop me. What I don't want to do, no one can force me." Feng Ho angrily stepped closer and said, "Ha ha, with my dad backing me, I can have you killed without lifting a finger. Believe it or not," calmly replied. "So what if I do, so what if I don't?" At Li Dan's villa. "Young Master Feng, what's the matter?" Feng Ho angrily held his phone and said, "Bring him here. We have leads on the car thief from before." He raised a beer glass. "Kid, drink quickly. Once my men arrive, you won't have time to drink anymore." So Thien Lam sneered, seeing through his farce, stood up and grabbed the beer glass. Feng Ho laughed contemptuously. "Yeah, I thought this kid was tough." So Thien Lam threw the beer in Feng Ho's face. He angrily shouted, "Damn it, are you tired of living?" So Thien Lam smiled smugly. Feng Ho immediately grabbed the beer bottle, angrily raised it to hit him. So easily. So Thien Lam grabbed his hand. Smiling, he took the beer bottle from Feng Ho and directly shoved it into his mouth, arrogantly saying, "What right do you have to boss me around?" Those around seeing the drama quickly gathered to watch. "Are you okay? Why all of a sudden like this?" Feng Ho screamed wildly. "Damn it, you're all just trash. If not for Thien, I wouldn't even bother with you." Feng Ho pointed at a bottle. "Are my men drunk yet?" "Feng Ho, who am I?" "You're all scum." Drunk, he slumped over the table. Tien. "Only I deserve you." Tien really has a beautiful figure." The crowd buzzed. "Oh my God, the elite really like to play these games." "Yeah, so embarrassing what now the birthday party is ruined." "Don't look at me, I didn't touch him at all." The police quickly stepped in. Young Master Feng, who is the car thief suspect, stepped forward. So Thien Lam grabbed Feng Ho's shirt and threw him toward the two officers who had just arrived, waving and laughing. "Ha ha, no car thief suspect, but there's a drunk causing trouble. You arrived just in time." Feng Ho was so drunk he didn't know what was happening, helped up by the two officers. "Ha ha, so embarrassing." The two officers hurriedly took him away. "Ha ha ha ha." One evening at some villa, Ma Not Min was meditating, his aura surging. "This is my breakthrough chance, I must seize it." Ma Not Min suddenly opened his eyes and clenched his fist, meaning he had successfully broken through to the third Chi training level. Suddenly, Ma Not Min's phone rang, this number only that person had. "Brother Ma, congratulations. Ma Not Min frowned. Tran Bok Vin. Tran Bok Ving, ranked 10th among wealthy businessmen in Dao An province, had gained control over many underworld bosses in Daozhou near Xuan City, so he sensed Ma Not Min's breakthrough. Tran Bok Ving frowned, thinking, "Right now, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is chaotic, and cultivation is difficult. How could Brother Ma break through? I don't deserve the credit I met a benefactor." On the other end, Tran Bok Vin curiously asked, "Who is this benefactor?" "I spent 3 days beside a senior cultivator, so I succeeded in breaking through." "Could this senior be even stronger than Mao Dai Daxian?" Ma Not Ming stroked his beard and said, "Although Mao Dai Daxian is the leader of the Hua Xia sect, this senior is even stronger. Both have extraordinary cultivation, but thanks to knowing this senior, I reached today." Tran Bok Vin looked out the window thoughtfully. "This senior must be a high-level great demon boss. I wonder if Brother Ma can keep advancing." "I want to apprentice." Ma Not Min frowned and thought, "I must ask this senior. I am nothing compared to him." "Then we wait for good news from you, big brother." After the party at Tom Nguyet Thien's house, Thien went to her parents' bedroom to say goodnight. "You need to take your medicine quickly. The doctor said you have to stay optimistic. Persisting with the medicine can buy you more time." Shen Nguyet Thien is shocked. It seems her parents are hiding something serious from her. "What's the difference? You and Thien are healthy. I can rest easy if I die. After I'm gone, you can find someone suitable to marry." Shen Nguyet Thien's mother says worriedly, "What are you saying?" "Take your medicine quickly. Now you're talking about funeral arrangements." Shen Nguyet Thien is stunned. She covers her mouth and sobs uncontrollably. She can't believe her father has terminal cancer. "Mom and Dad always hid it from me. No one could live that long anyway." "Don't say any more. Take your medicine quickly." Tom Nguyet Thien stood outside the door and heard everything. She trembled, covering her mouth as she cried. Her parents were the most important people to her. Besides, Dad was at the company the next morning. So Thien Lam scratched his head awkwardly and said, Thien, I want to take a few days off, heh. Tham Nguyệt Thien held her head and asked, Oh, why? So, Thien Lam immediately noticed something was wrong. Thien, is something wrong? I see you don't look well, I'm fine. Just haven't been sleeping enough. So Thien Lam said worriedly, Thien, we're friends. If there's something, just tell me. Maybe I can help. Tham Nguyệt Thien's eyes were sad. My father has terminal brain cancer. When did this happen? About a year ago. My parents always hid it from me. I overheard it last night by chance. So, Thien Lam put his arm around her shoulder to comfort her. It's okay. It's okay, there will be a way. Suddenly, so Thien Lam remembered. That's right, healing talismans. But drawing healing talismans isn't easy. Also, using charms to cure might make Thien not believe it. If you're sad, just tell me. I'm here. Holding the beauty in his arms, he thought, let's just draw it first. A while later at So Thien Lam's house, that's right. After packing, where are you going? Tell him to speak quietly. The delivery staff is helping him move antique items bought from the antique shop. That's how it is. When you have money, that's how it is. So, Thien Lam looked out the window and saw police cars. Sent by Feng Ho. He smiled, thinking, ha ha. Revenge came fast. Inside. So Thien Lam's room, 2 police officers were forcing the door open. He hid in the corner watching the police enter. With his abilities, even if surrounded by the police, they couldn't do anything. But avoiding trouble is no shame. Now is the time to act righteously. The talisman on So Thien Lam's forehead glowed, go. Tweet ding, it's time to act. Then, So Thien Lam disappeared into a room full of cigarette butts. One police officer was absorbed in playing a game. So Thien Lam and Tuyet Din hid behind him. Give them a little light. Watch me massage. Let us use it. Commanding gaze direct Tweet Ding to them. For me. Yes. Tuyet Din flew in front of the 2 police officers. She performed a little pink magic. The 2 officers immediately went stiff. They fell into a dreamlike hallucination. So Thien Lam, wearing a dragon robe, seriously smiled and said, If you enter the palace, how can you not have worries? Someone pull them down. The 2 officers, dressed as eunuchs, knelt and begged, Please don't, Your Majesty, spare our lives. They cried while being dragged away by the guards, don't be kind. I don't want to be a eunuch. Back to reality, so. Thien Lam smiled, looking at the 2 officers, screaming to stop. Then he snapped his fingers and shot something straight at their weak spots. The 2 officers screamed in pain, terrified. They immediately ran out of So Thien Lam's house. Aha, there's a ghost. Happily high-fiving, Tuyet Din, good job, hey. The 2 officers ran downstairs, panting cowardly, saying, Did we just see a ghost? Definitely. So, what should we do? They looked at each other in fear. Young Master Feng instructed, Let's do this. Should we invite a Taoist priest? On the 6th floor in front of So Thien Lam's apartment, a voice echoed, Give the key to the ghost in that room. I will come meet him. The old Taoist priest looked contemptuously at the 2 officers, thinking, Nowadays, there are no such terrifying ghosts. These 2 must be crazy, and crazy people are often very rich. The old priest approached the door and saw a black aura covering it. He worriedly thought, I've reached this age and never seen a ghost before. But these 2 don't seem to be pretending. Could it be real? The old priest began chanting. Suddenly his third eye opened, seeing Tuyet Din with white eyes wildly screaming. In front of the old priest, terrified, he yelled and ran for his life. This is not an ordinary ghost, but a spirit ghost with powerful magic. Like someone tamed it. What did these 2 fools offend? Tuyet Din happily said the masters of those 2 officers, then sought a Taoist exorcist. So Thien Lam closed his eyes, meditating to cultivate. Everyone is really brave. You go teach them a lesson. The old Taoist hurriedly ran away. This demon is beyond my understanding. Extremely formidable. I will take my leave. You 2 feel free. Or shall we go too? While the 2 policemen were talking, Tuyet Din suddenly appeared above them. She smiled maliciously. Another policeman was calling Feng Ho come over. How's the situation? Have you caught the guy with that surname yet? Suddenly he was shocked to see the 2 disciples going mad. Crying and screaming, I didn't kill her. It wasn't me. Who told you not to like me? You deserved it. Please don't eat me. He anxiously spoke into the phone. Young Master Fung, these two are crazy. I'm not doing this anymore. Tweet Din looked at him thoughtfully. Young Master Fung So Thin Lum's orders are like flies and bugs. Ding, go check it out. Tweet Ding immediately flew off. Yes, yes. I'll handle it right away. Fung Ho gritted his teeth angrily. That idiot is driven crazy by that guy named So. This brat has no background, no status. Why is he so arrogant? He sat angrily in the karaoke room. Tweet Ding flew through the hallway looking for Fung Ho's room. Suddenly she stopped, looked through the door at him. Tweet Ding blew out a breath. Fung Ho immediately fell into a hallucination. It's done. Goodbye. The girl beside him looked puzzled. Fung Ho sneezed once. He saw his hands covered in blood. Horrified, he shouted, No blood. Young Master Fung, what's wrong with you? Turn on the light. Turn off the music. Fung Ho frowned, confused. If there's no blood, then why like this? Young Master Fung suddenly held his head in pain and then left saying, It's nothing. I'm just a little dizzy. Everyone please continue. I'll go to the restroom for a moment. Fung Ho went to the restroom to wash his hands. The toilet next to him seemed to make a noise. Fung Ho broke out in cold sweat, glanced fearfully. Something was rising in the toilet. Suddenly a hand reached out. A. The next day at the hospital, Fung Ho sat trembling on the bed. Spare me, save me. His mother worried what to do with her son in such pain. Has he been possessed by a ghost? She picked up the phone to call a master to ask for help. She stood at the door and called, Hello, Master Ma, I am Fung Hu Ngi. Man Yat Ming frowned and said, So it's Director Fung. What's the matter? My son suddenly fainted. The situation is strange. I suspect he encountered that thing and want to invite the master to help. Please send someone to Lin Min Quan. Fung Hu Ngi hung up and quickly took his son to Lin Min Quan. Fung Ho's mother worried. The condition of my son is like this. Why take him there? Why not the hospital? Who did you call? Why so arrogant? Who do you think you are? People only agreed out of respect. Even the mayor has to be respectful to him. At Lin Min Quan, sorry to bother Master Ma, please help my son. Man Yat Ming looked at Fung Ho, lying on the bed, said he took his pulse, then suddenly realized something. Has your son harmed others? Fung Hu Ngi didn't believe it. How could that be? My son is very good, never done anything bad. Man Yat Ming frowned, thinking, Never done anything bad. Can conscience be questioned when talking well? Considering our many years of acquaintance, I should still save him. Your son is invaded by a very strong grudge energy. To remove it, we must find the source of the grudge. Wait a moment. Man Yat Min raised an incense stick to Fung Ho's forehead. The incense suddenly burst into flames, smoke rising from there. I will return immediately. Two people greeted Director Fung. Yes, Master, Man Yat Min is coming along. The tracking smoke took only 10 minutes to reach the place. The incense smoke pointed toward So Thin Lum's house. Man Yat Ming frowned in thought. It does point towards Senior So's house. The incense packet from the sensor flew towards So Thin Lum's house. Man Yat Ming stood at the door thinking, could it be that Director Fung's son's coma is related to Senior So Thin Lum? Thinking this, Man Yat Min immediately turned to leave. Fung Ho really has no will to live, daring to offend Senior So Thin Lum. Suddenly opening the door and stepping out, Master Ma said, What brings you here, sir? Man Yat Min was about to leave, but startled. He respectfully said, I accepted the request because surely Fung Ho has offended the gentleman, so I don't intend to get involved. Fung Ho definitely deserves a lesson. You don't need to intervene. After some time, he will come to his senses. Senior So is merciful. I am deeply impressed. Master Ma, you flatter me. Suddenly, Man Yat Min said, Oh, right. One more thing. I have a fellow Taoist who wants to meet you, Senior. Would you be able to see him for a moment? So Thin Lam frowned and said, All right, thank you, Senior. Please rest. I will take my leave. So Thin Lam entered the room and looked at his hand. The ring suddenly appeared on it. So Thin Lam let out a shout. Spiritual energy surged the universe. Realm accepted its master. It could shrink automatically and change shape to hide. Truly a celestial grade item, excellent features. The ring then disappeared again. So Thien Lum sat down to begin cultivation. On the way back, Man Yat Min called Tron Bok Vin and said, Bok Vin, brother, I have good news. The gentleman has agreed to meet you. Thank you, brother Ma. I'll head to Xuanthan now with the red envelopes I've prepared for you long ago. Then you owe me at least a pound of red envelopes, and not just 1 pound. 100 pounds would do, ha. Returning to Lin Min Quan. Feng Ho's parents anxiously asked Master Ma, "How is our son?" Ma Nyat-ming calmly said, "Your son has offended someone important to me. He will wake up on his own. When he wakes, tell him not to offend that person again, or I won't spare him." Ma Nyat-ming left. Feng Ho's mother shouted in frustration, "Ma Guy, don't be too arrogant. I'll see if I don't have you jailed." Ma Nyat-ming frowned, turned around, waved his hand, and the entire Feng family was thrown outside. "You are not welcome here. Please leave." The whole Feng family hurriedly helped each other to leave. Master Ma truly lives up to his reputation. It's all because that talkative woman offended him. I didn't know he was so formidable. At the company. So Thien Lam focused on drawing talismans, holding the talisman happily, thinking that after thousands of trials it finally succeeded, very worthy of celebration praise. But most importantly, Thien must believe in this talisman. So Thien Lam looked at Ma Nyat-min cultivating. If I speak, I fear Thien won't believe it. If Ma Nyat-min speaks, so Thien Lam approached him. "Master Ma, how is your reputation in Xuanthang?" Ma Nyat-ming clasped his hands and replied, "Senior, so I have some influence in Xuanthan. What do you need me to do?" So Thien Lam turned and said, "Our company's chairman has brain cancer. I drew a talisman to cure the illness, but I fear they won't believe it, so I want to ask for your help to say a few words." "No problem. I will do it right away." Ma Nyat-min held the talisman, thinking a healing talisman only exists in legends. Even Mao Dai, Great Immortal, probably can't draw one. Senior So's skill is truly profound. Ma Nyat-ming called Tam Q Ting, father of Tum Nguyen Tien, suddenly saying, "Master Ma, why are you calling me at leisure?" Master Tham boldly asked, "Are you sick with cancer?" Tham Q Ting asked in surprise. "Master Ma, where did you hear that? You don't need to worry about that. I have in my hand a healing talisman given by a great master that can cure all diseases. Master Tham, would you like to try it?" Tham Q Ting, looking haggard, thought, "If anyone else said this, it would surely be nonsense. But this is Ma Nyat-min, a very influential person. Master Ma, aren't you telling the whole truth?" Ma Nyat-min stroked his beard and said, "With my reputation and status, I wouldn't lie about this. Master Tham, just try it." Tham Q Ting frowned and thought, Master Ma is right. He doesn't need to deceive me. Anyway, I don't have long to live, so I'll just give it a try. I'll try it now. I'll come to the company to see you. See you there shortly. Master Ma, please tell me, is that talisman real or fake? Madam Tham asked worriedly. Of course it's real. Master Tham, please have a seat. I will activate the healing talisman now. Ma Nyat-ming raised the talisman and placed it on Tam Ku Tin's forehead. Thien Tien's mother looked at him with wild joy as if dreaming. Tham Ku Tin's body emitted light, and after a while he opened his eyes, no longer showing the tired, wasted look of a patient. Tham Ku Ting happily stood up. Ma Nyat-ming was astonished and said, "The effect is beyond imagination, just as predicted. His brain cancer cells have been destroyed. He can go to the hospital for a checkup. Thank you, Master Ma." Afterwards, the two went directly to the hospital where the doctor held the results and happily said, "The results are in. Mr. Tam's brain is very healthy." Tham Nguyen Tien's parents happily embraced each other. "That's great. You're okay now, right? We have to thank the master that Ma Dao Trung mentioned. Hearing you say that Thien Tien probably knows I have brain cancer but just keeps it to herself." Yeah, so how do we tell her now?" "Just say the diagnosis was wrong. I can call her to come over too." Tham Nguyen Tien entered the room. "Mom and Dad, you called me here for something. Mom has good news to tell you." Tham Nguyen Tien, "What good news?" "Dad is about to leave. What other good news could there be?" Tam Q Tin handed her a health check report and said, "Take a look." Tham Nguyen Tien looked worried and said, "What is this?" "Didn't Dad have brain cancer?" "The test results show no abnormalities detected in Tam Q Tin's brain." Her mother came closer and said, "That day when you secretly cried, I saw it all. It's true that Dad was diagnosed with brain cancer before, but today we found out the previous result was wrong, so don't worry anymore." Tham Nguyen Tien frowned and asked, "Which hospital and which doctor made the wrong diagnosis? Even brain cancer diagnosed wrong, that's really irresponsible." Tham Q Ting stood up and said that doctor is a friend of Dad's, so maybe there was an issue with the test results. Anyway, Dad is fine now, so you don't need to sneak around and cry anymore. Tham Nguyen Tin was still worried, asking if Dad really wasn't lying to her. He didn't fake the report just to comfort you, right? Tham Q Ting smiled and said, if it really was brain cancer, you know he wouldn't be able to hide it from you. Tham Nguyen Tin was so relieved she nearly cried. It's good that Dad is fine. That doctor was really irresponsible, but since he's Dad's friend, she wouldn't hold it against him. Okay, don't cry anymore, Thien Thien. Let's go on a trip. Yes, let's all go together. Tham Nguyen Tin happily opened the door and immediately ran to hug So Thien Lum's neck. Lam, I have good news to tell you. Seeing Tham Nguyen Tin so happy, he guessed Master Ma must have succeeded, but still pretended to ask what good news. Good. Thien Thien excitedly said her father's illness was a misdiagnosis. He's fine now. That's great, but that doctor is really annoying, even though he's my dad's friend. The two looked at each other, the atmosphere gradually becoming affectionate. Thien Lam just said, uh-huh, and Thien Thien shyly let him go. Haha, sorry. Thien Lam scratched his head quickly, easing the awkwardness. It's okay. Is everything fine at the company? Yes, everything's good. By the way, we'll be going on that trip in a few days. That's great. Oh, there's something I have to tell you, though. It might spoil the mood. What is it? I've already submitted my resignation here. If you need anything, you can come to me. I'll be leaving soon. Thien Thien felt confused inside. Why was it like this? Why just leave like that? No way. Lam is so capable. He should go somewhere fitting to develop more. Though she didn't want him to leave, Thien Thien still smiled, holding his hand and saying she supported him. Thien Lam comforted her. Don't worry. Even if I quit, we're still friends. Whenever you need me, rain or shine, I won't hesitate. At Tran Bok Vin Mall. Thank you, senior. No need for formalities, said So Thien Lam. Ma Nyat Min and Tran Bok Vin entered the cafe inside the mall. Suddenly, Thien Lam recognized someone he hadn't seen in a long time, Ho Tu. How Tu, you're here too. Thien Lam walked over to Ho Tu's table. How Tu enthusiastically pointed to the person opposite and introduced to Thien Lam. This is my father-in-law, Triu Huang Tin, and this is my high school classmate So Thien Lam. Hello, sir. The middle-aged man with a stern face said, Bok Vien, we're having an important discussion. Talk to your friend later. How Tu shyly looked at Thien Lam. Thien Lam apologized. I'm in the middle of a discussion. I'll contact you after. You focus on your work, then. After saying that, he left. Just as he left, a well-dressed man in leather shoes entered the cafe. Old Trio, is this your son-in-law? How Tu's father-in-law hurriedly stood up. Yes, Brother Fien, please have a seat. Bok Vien stood up to pull out a chair for him. The man looked at Bok Vien with a smile. I heard you want to join our trading group. Bok Vien timidly replied, Yes, Uncle Fan. I ranked third in the exam and made it to the interview round, so I need your help. Uncle Fan sighed deeply, his face showing sadness. This is tough. The trading group is only hiring one person this time. It should have been enough for me to interview you, but the deputy director said the person in 10th place is his distant relative. Bok Vien was shocked. No, that can't be. At that moment, Bok Vien's father-in-law spoke. Uncle Fan, is there really no other way? The deputy director has no relatives, right? The 10th person is a distant relative. We just have to try a little. Doesn't that make us relatives of the deputy director too? Hearing that, he immediately understood. Then tell me the amount. Uncle Fan held up 3 fingers, at least this much. So Thien Lam, sitting nearby, secretly observed them and heard every word clearly. This is clearly bribery. Where would Bok Vien get so much money? If his father-in-law pays, it would be so embarrassing. He turned to Ma Not Min, Master. Ma Bok Vien is my friend. He wants to get into the trading group. Could you help? Of course, no problem. Leave it to me. After saying that, he stood up to excuse himself and quickly left. He approached Bok Vien's table. Director Fan, long time no see. The man was startled and looked up at Master Ma. Why are you here? When Master Ma finished his business and returned to Thien Lam Bai Yuan, happened to see him and hurriedly ran over to Thien Lam, scratching his head and saying, Thien Lam, thank you. I'm really sorry about my father-in-law. Thien Lam replied, We're all classmates, no need to be so formal. Bai Yuan stared at him blankly. Thien Lam, you're so generous, I'm truly ashamed. Moreover, Thien Lam is really powerful. Could this Taoist priest also be a friend of Thien Lam? Bai Yuan's father-in-law stood at a distance watching the two talk, his face dark as he murmured, Who exactly is Bai Yuan's friend? What if I offend him? Back when Master Ma came to the table, he put his arm around Bai Yuan's shoulder. Bai Yuan is a friend of mine. He told the vice president, if Bai Yuan can't get into the trading corporation, I'll come find you to settle this. Director Fan broke out in a cold sweat hearing Master Ma's words while Bai Yuan looked confused, not understanding what was happening. Master Ma spoke harshly. Even if you're the chairman, you won't dare say a word. I will go find the vice president immediately. After saying this, Director Fan hurriedly left. Master Ma said to Bai Yuan, regarding this matter, Mr. Bai, just rest assured. After speaking, he quickly went back to Thien Lam. Bai Yuan's father-in-law quickly brought a cup of tea to Thien Lam's table, bowed 90 degrees. Young Master Su, earlier, Zhao was blind. Please accept this tea as a substitute for wine to apologize to you. After saying this, he drank the entire cup of tea. Su Thienlum propped his chin on his hand, thinking to himself that this is the benefit of power and influence. Does this person still dare to look down on others? Well, after all, he's Bai Yuan's father-in-law. Thienlam closed his eyes and said in a low voice, let's consider this matter settled. Now I want to drink tea. Bai Yuan's father-in-law understood and quickly bowed. Then Zhao take my leave. The two left. He spoke to Ma Yiming, Master Ma. Thank you this time. Master Ma modestly replied, it's a small matter, no need for senior to be so polite. Tran Bok Vin lifted his teacup and took a sip. Senior, I, your junior, dare to ask a question. What is your current cultivation level? While holding the cup, he propped his chin and said, peak chi refinement. Upon hearing this, the other party was so scared he broke out in a cold sweat. Peak chi refinement is a legendary realm, yet someone has actually reached it. Mr. Tron heard Master Ma say, you're not from Xuanthan, right? Senior, I am from Daozhou. The economy of Daozhou is more developed than Xuanthan. Daozhou is a city in Daoan province slightly more developed than Xuanthan. Thienlam pondered, wondering how many antiques Daozhou might have. The two seemed to realize something. Their eyes brightened as they looked at each other and simultaneously handed over 2 business cards. We heard your friend really likes antiques. Here is a small token from us. We hope you will accept us as disciples. Su Thien Lam took the 2 cards, one belonging to Zhang Gong, president of the Daozhou Antique Association. The other was from Li Jiangguo, general manager of the Xuanthan Antique Trading Company. He smiled slightly. Hey, it seems you two have prepared in advance. Then I accept you both as disciples. The two bowed. Master disciples salute the master. At this moment, Su Thien Lam felt a bit uneasy. Having disciples older than the master was a little awkward. But since they were accepted as disciples, it had to be so. He stood up. Seeing you both are still in the early stage of cultivation, I will help you both. Wait a moment. As he spoke, he suddenly stopped and turned away, leaving the two puzzled. It turned out his ring had just activated, producing a chi condensing pill. He took the pill, crushed it into powder, then sprinkled it into 2 cups of water, pushing the cups toward the two. He said, drink up. The two looked at each other, not understanding but obeying, picked up the cups and drank it all. After drinking, their eyes brightened. Tran Bok Vin's internal power instantly broke through to the 5th level of chi refinement. Ma Yiming also slowly absorbed the medicinal power, increasing by 1 cultivation level. Having successfully broken through, the two bowed to Su Thien Lam. Thank you, Master. I've been stuck at the 4th level of chi refinement for 15 years. Thanks to Master, I've now broken through. You two are my disciples. This is nothing. At that moment, Su Thien Lam's phone rang, and he took it out. Oh, it's Miss Hang Na. She sent me a WeChat message a while ago. Not seeing you, do you still remember this fairy daughter? Su Thienlam suddenly remembered. Right, it's been a long time since I contacted her. But he replied to the message, of course I remember, but it's a bit inconvenient right now. I'll get back to you later. You go ahead and take care of your business first. After reading the message, Su Thien Lam's expression darkened in surprise, unsure of what to say. As for Fairy Hang Na, it was the first time she took the initiative to text someone else, only to receive that kind of reply. She blushed, crossed her arms in anger, and steamed back to Xuanthan. Tit Din Ding went to practice cultivation. So Thien Lam sat on the sofa, scrolling through his phone. What did Hang Nga want from me just now? Let me ask and see. I also want to check the situation on WeChat. The phone in his hand lit up. He was taken to Kwanghan Palace. He called Fairy Hang Nga to greet her. In response, there was silence. He walked around wondering why it was so quiet. Fairy Hang Nga. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound. So Thien Lam turned around, wondering what it was. He looked toward the noise and hurried over. Fairy Hang Nga laughed freely. It turned out she was bathing under the waterfall. Sometimes she brushed her hair. Sometimes she changed poses, enjoying the cool water. So Thien Lam stood frozen, his face flushed and sweating, thinking this was a huge surprise. Even bathing like that, she sighed. He blushed because when he ran over, he saw Fairy Hang Nga bathing in the pool, making moves that made one blush. He hurriedly left. Better to get out of there. Almost an hour later, he accidentally stepped on a dry branch. Hearing the noise, Fairy Hang Nga quickly covered herself, her face red as a ripe gak fruit, shouting, "Someone's watching." He was seen. She angrily called him a pervert. He quickly explained, "Don't misunderstand, it's just a mistake." Ngo Kung's face turned bright red. He didn't know when his nose started bleeding heavily. He crawled out from the bushes holding an axe. "Pervert, this is my axe. I'm hungry." Fairy Hang Nga and So Thien Lam looked at him in confusion. Ngo Kung saw So Thien Lam frown and said, "So it's you." He waved to him, "It's me, but also not me." Without hesitation, he grabbed his axe and charged. So Thien Lam dodged to the side. He swung and missed, falling flat on his face. He turned his head to look at him, putting his thumb in his mouth. Then he kept swinging his axe at him while So Thien Lam easily dodged. Fairy Hang Nga quickly got out of the water and put on clothes. She walked in front of him and gave a cold look. He scratched his head, embarrassed, and raised his hand to greet her. "Fairy, don't misunderstand, I didn't mean to." Meanwhile, Ngo Kwang was exhausted and breathing heavily. Fairy Hang Nga spoke, "Do you have something to say? Finally, someone is talking to me." She thought he wanted to ask about WeChat, but the current situation didn't seem good. He slowly replied, "It's like this. Earlier, Fairy, did you want to ask me something?" Fairy Hang Nga blushed and shyly replied, I didn't. "But why is Kwanghan Palace so cold, Fairy?" he asked. Then Fairy Hang Nga was shocked, cold. She angrily shouted at Ngo Kwang, "Hit him! Let me beat him up!" "Why do you have to mention that men are really annoying?" Ngo Kung obeyed and charged forward. Meanwhile, So Thien Lam looked gloomy. "Oh no, why did I bring this up?" He quickly disappeared, leaving only a message, "You two stop fighting, talk next time." Back in his room, he sat on the sofa holding his face, deciding to leave the WeChat issue for another time. Suddenly his phone rang. It was Bak Vian calling. He answered, "Hello, Bak Vian, what's up?" So Thien Lam said, "Thanks for what happened earlier, and I'm really sorry." "It's okay. Anything else, if you're free, can we meet at the barbecue joint in Xuanthang tonight?" A man dressed in black ran over from afar. "Brother, good to finally see you. Long time no see, I missed you to death, ha-ha." "Yes, that's right." So Thien Lam and the man in black put their arms around each other's shoulders as they walked and talked. "Back to the delicious barbecue place again, you two." So Thien Lam stood at the door and saw Bak Vian and a girl sitting at a barbecue table inside. Bak Vian and the girl stood up to greet them. Bak Vian raised his glass to Thien Lam. "This is my wife, Lu Tuyet, let's cheers." The four sat down to chat. "Thien Lam, do you still remember this place?" "Of course I do. I was poor before and everyone always found excuses to invite me for barbecue. Honestly, I almost got sick of eating so much meat, haha." "Isn't that because they wanted you to eat more meat?" "That was Thang Van's idea. Thang Van is really loyal." Bak Vien seriously asked, "Right, have you set a wedding date yet?" Thang Van slammed the table and said, "Enough, don't mention it anymore. The car is bought, the deposit for the house is paid, and there's still 300,000 left for the wedding expenses." Bak Vien drank his beer and said, "Then let's discuss it with the bride's family and see what they say." Thang Van finished his beer. "At this point, it's better to break up early. Girlfriends are hard to find, but that's a lot of money." So Thien Lum spoke up, "Don't worry, brother. I can lend you the 300,000. Thang Van was shocked, putting down his half-drunk beer. "What did you say? I must have heard wrong." Sitting next to Bak Vian eating grilled meat, he thought Lum is really good to his friends. "Thien Lum, can you really lend me the money?" "If you're sure, then I will lend it to you." The two friends stood up and raised their beer glasses. "Brother Thien Lum, I admire you. Thank you." "That's right, Thien Lum, thanks for what happened last time, too. Come on, no one leaves until they're drunk." Everyone ate and drank until full, the food on the table almost gone. Bak Vien slammed his glass down hard, the alcohol fumes rising. He got angry. Damn it, why am I so unlucky? Thien Lum sat next to him, hearing Bok Vien complain, thinking silently. Finally, I understand. Even though Bok Vien is a bit weak and afraid of trouble, he really values loyalty. He's really a pity. So Thien Lum quietly went to the bathroom. 10 minutes later, he drew 2 healing talismans. He hid the 2 talismans behind his back and quietly entered the room. Pretending to be a little drunk, he quietly sat down at the table. Everyone around was drunk. No one noticed him. He slowly reached his hand under the table and stuck the 2 talismans near Bok Vien. The 2 talismans took effect on Bok Vien and his wife Lu Tweet, glowing with a golden light. Then their spirits cleared up what's going on. Their bodies felt purified and much more comfortable thanks to the healing talismans. Even the alcohol sobered them up. Lu Tweet stood up apologizing. Sorry, I need to use the restroom for a moment. Lu Tweet walked toward the back of the restaurant down the steps to the public restroom. Not far from there on the street, a few men were drinking. A blond man turned and looked at her with lustful eyes. With a smack, he slapped her butt, making her scared and embarrassed. She turned around and yelled, "What are you doing?" He laughed. "Just one touch. Isn't it soft and elastic? Ha ha ha." The blond man slowly stood up. They approached Lu Tweet teasingly. "Want to come to my place? My bed is big and soft." Lu Tweet was terrified to tears and hurriedly ran away. She ran crying back into the banquet room. Everyone turned to look at Lu Tweet. Seeing his wife cry, Bok Vien asked, "What's wrong?" Lu Tweet wiped her tears and said, "Someone touched my butt and teased me." One of them grabbed a beer bottle from the table. Thang Vun grabbed the beer bottle and stood up. "Damn it, how dare you tease my brother's wife?" Thang Vun rushed outside holding the beer bottle. "I'll beat you to death for my brother." The blond guy was a bit scared, sweating cold. Thang Vun charged forward, smashing the bottle at him. Luckily, he dodged quickly and kept his life. His face went pale, too dangerous. Before he could recover, a kick flew at him with a thud. It was Bok Vien rushing in and kicking him in the back. The blond man fell on 2 others. All 3 tumbled to the ground, screaming. The blond man painfully crawled up slowly. Still not home free, someone grabbed his collar and lifted him up. "Don't think you can leave without explaining." He glanced back at them and snorted. "Explain what explanation?" The shop owner saw the fight and quickly ran out. "Thang Vun, what's going on? Why are you destroying my place?" Thang Vun coldly looked at the owner. "Not destroying, but those scoundrels are unbearable, daring to mess with my friend's wife." Then he stepped forward and slapped the blond man. "Damn it." The other 2 outside clenched their teeth. A fight over a girl that could turn deadly. At that moment, a long-haired man scratched his head and stepped forward. "Everyone, this is our fault." Before he finished, the blond man interrupted, clutching his face. "Fault or not, if you're brave, kill me. If not, sooner or later, I won't spare any of you." His words stunned his friends into silence. Thien Lum's face darkened, radiating murderous intent. "Is that so? If you want to die, I'll grant it for you." The blond guy's face twisted as he looked at Thien Lum. His friends hurried over to stop him. "He knows he was wrong. Don't get angry. Anger will only harm yourself." The shop owner also quickly advised, "Thien Lum Thang Vun always has a good relationship with you. For Thang Vun's sake, can you calm down?" Lum released the blond guy and picked up a beer bottle. "For Thang Vun's sake, if you don't behave, this will be the consequence." After saying that, he crushed the beer bottle in his hand. The 3 guys shrank back in fear faces, pale, sweating profusely. Thien Lum turned and left. Thang Vun said, "Guys, let's go." He warned them, "Remember, if you don't behave." The shop owner quickly replied, "Thanks, Thang Vun, thanks to you all." The long-haired guy rolled up his pants to reveal a thigh wound. "Damn, that hurts. Are you hurt?" The blond guy revealed a sinister smile. "Ha, ha, I've got a plan, just kill them all." The phone showed a call from Ma Dao Trung. So Thien Lum answered, "Everyone keep drinking, I'm taking a call." By this time, Lu Tweet had left, so only Thang Vun and Bok Vien remained drinking. A group armed with knives, swords, and clubs stormed in. It was the blond guy's gang. They came to the door of the room where Thien Lum and the others were drinking. "They're in there." The blond guy kicked the door open, and they aggressively lined up, blocking Thang Vun and Bok Vien. Seeing this, the 2 stood up. Thang Vun angrily said, "You bastards, are you still not done?" The blond guy ordered, "Guys, kill them." As soon as he finished, his men charged while he stayed by the door on the phone. He held up the phone and said, "Hello, cousin." Thang Vun and Bak Vien were quickly restrained, their bodies covered in bruises. "Let me go if you're brave. Fight me one-on-one." A foot in a blue sneaker approached, dust swirling. "Stop the noise, calm down." A burly man stepped in front of them. The blond guy arrogantly introduced, "This is my cousin. He's well-connected and ruthless. He wants to kill you." Just one sentence made Thang Vun, battered and bruised, look at him with some worry. The blond guy stepped closer to Thang Vun, smacked him with satisfaction, then repeatedly slapped his face. "Who told you to hit my guys? Give up your buddies or I'll break your legs, make you pay compensation and send you to jail." Thang Vun, beaten to distortion, said, "I don't want to go to jail. I'm about to get married. I don't have that kind of money." The long-haired guy, acting well, grabbed his leg and cried out, "Ouch! Ouch!" The blond guy took the opportunity to say, "Damn you, crippled my guys. You still want to get married? Call your buddies out here, I'll break your legs." Bak Vien held his head trembling. The blond guy sneered, "You call these guys brothers?" Hearing this, Thang Vun knelt down, unwillingly clenched his hands, then stood and bowed his head before the blond guy. "Brother Kim, this guy's fiancée is very attractive. Do you want me to help you trick her here?" Hearing Thang Vun say that Bak Vien was horrified, "Thang Vun, don't blame me, blame Thien Lum for being too arrogant and too harsh. Now we don't even know where he's gone. Still calling each other brother and sister, unbelievable." The blond guy stepped closer, slung an arm around Thang Vun's shoulders. "Ha ha, fine. I'll cover for you next time. Hurry up, can you cover for me?" So Thien Lum coldly stepped in from outside. "Damn it, here they come again. Guys, get up, I'll kill him." They aggressively charged, some wielding knives, others clubs. He calmly looked at them, smiling coldly. The loud noise echoed throughout the room as the henchmen of the blond man were beaten by Thien Lum, lying motionless on the ground. The blond man trembled in fear as Thien Lum rushed toward him like a gust of wind. A gunshot rang out. He jumped up and threw a powerful punch at the guy. The blond man was kicked away, crashing into the wall and creating a large hole. He fell and hit a cabinet, clutching his neck where he hit the cabinet. Grimacing as he opened his eyes to look in one direction, his face pale and terrified. In front of him was a family of 3 lying motionless on the floor, as if dead. He curled up in fear in the corner of the room. The door creaked open. A slender hand fumbled for the light switch and turned it on, lighting up the room. "Ah!" the blond man shouted, "Officer McKay!" Startled, she looked at him. "Who are you? Why are you at the crime scene?" She suddenly realized something, so Thien Lum. "Why are you here causing trouble again?" He put his hands in his pockets and calmly stepped over the hole in the wall. "Police, we meet again. Destiny brings us together." A hand placed on his shoulder, the blond man's cousin angrily pulled him back. "What are you doing? Looking down on me?" Thien Lum turned to face him. "Oh, you think you can boss me around?" Swish! The man pointed a gun at his forehead. He remained calm, showing no fear, enraged. "Do you think I'll shoot you?" The female officer stepped in to stop it. "Stop, stop." The man glanced at the female officer. She thought who she was telling to stop. It was him who should stop. A hand reached out and pushed his away. He clenched his teeth in pain. Suddenly, his attitude changed to fear, unable to speak. A middle-aged man with authority and 2 police officers entered. The man stammered, "Chief." A kick hit his shoulder. The chief angrily kicked the blond man's cousin. "Gangsters dare to cause trouble here. Arrest them all for me." The blond man's cousin was handcuffed, and his henchmen were also arrested. It's over for them. The chief approached Thien Lum. "Master Ma told me already. I didn't expect these thugs to be so brazen, daring to show up here and scare Mr. So." "It's okay, please handle it." Thang Vun was also restrained by the police. Seeing the chief respectful toward Thien Lum, he panicked. "What? How come this is happening? Since when has Thien Lum become so powerful? What have I done?" McKay was also very surprised. Since when did So Thien Lum have such authority? Too arrogant. The chief immediately ordered them taken away. Bak Vien, clutching his wound, approached Thien Lum. "Thang Vun, who told you not to trust Thien Lum, serves you right." At this moment, Thang Vun deeply regretted it, closing his eyes and bowing his head, tears streaming down his cheeks. Why am I the one who was wrong? I'm not willing. The others gradually left. The female officer and another policeman were discussing the triple family homicide. Could it really not have been caused by humans? Thienlum, standing nearby, observed and said, "Officer, can you handle this? If not, let me help." Mike flushed with anger. "You're the one who can't." He stepped closer to her, hand on her head, pressing her against the wall. "You know men aren't allowed to say no." A police officer led Master Ma in, saying, "Officer Me, Master Ma is here." Master Ma stammered upon seeing him. "So it's you, Brother So?" The female officer asked in surprise, "You two know each other?" Master Ma replied, "Yes, this vampire case wouldn't be resolved without Brother So's help." Thienlum was surprised. "Has something happened with the vampire case here that I don't know about?" Mike looked at him blankly, thinking, "What? How is he involved in the vampire case?" In a dark, cold forest, there was a well black as ink. A red car was driving into the forest toward the well. Officer McKay and the others got out. "We're here. The previous vampire case started from this well." The female officer's colleague, sweating and trembling, tried to reassure himself. "Though it's eerie, I'm a cop, I'm not afraid." Cold winds howled as a group of adults and children moved in the distance. Two terrified officers muttered, I'm not afraid," with strong protection and civilized democracy. The trembling hand tries to hold tight, trying to stay calm. The female officer tries to appear composed. "I have to be strong." The female officer hurriedly moves forward, holding the rope with one hand. Su Thienlam stands in front of Mike, blocking her. "Wait, this should be left to the men first. Let me handle it." The female officer shyly says, "All right, you take it." She hands the rope in her hand to him. Looking at him without turning back, she coughs softly to get his attention. He receives the signal, turns his head back, and waves it off. Female officer. Me looks surprised. He squats down, preparing to jump. Like a gust of wind, he jumps straight down the well, leaving female officer Me utterly shocked. Thienlam lands confidently. Two male officers peek down the well. "Oh my God, no way, this well is at least 20-30 meters deep. This is basically a death wish." Captain Ma calmly stands behind the two male officers. "You guys can rest assured with Brother Su's ability. This is nothing." Thienlam calls up from the well, "I'm fine, everyone come down." Jumping from this height and being fine, impressive. Mike stands nearby looking puzzled. This guy knows way too much. The three officers struggle to lower the rope and then climb down. "It's so high we have to use all our strength just to reach the bottom." Is Mr. Su the head of the national team? Thienlam waves from afar, calling out loudly, "Over here!" The five gather together and go deeper inside. It turns out there is a very deep tunnel below. "Let's keep going." "Yeah, we've gone 200 meters and still nothing." One officer suddenly shouts, "There's light ahead." Two officers hurry toward the light. Thienlam and the others follow slowly behind. Before them appears a very strange structure. A large coffin placed right in the center of the cave, surrounded by four smaller coffins. A golden lion's head hangs on the wall, and two bright lanterns hang above. Female officer. Me speaks up. "Are the undead inside the coffins?" A male officer clenches his fist. "How can the people's police be afraid of the undead?" Saying that, he runs and kicks one of the small coffins, causing the lid to pop open and creatures to crawl out. "Here, let me see how tough you really are." "Oh my God, do you want to die?" A pair of hands stand upright inside the coffin that was just kicked. The officers tense up, taking a fighting stance. The silence is frightening. Female officer. Me swallows nervously. Someone approaches the coffin with a flashlight and only sees a set of burial robes inside. Female officer. Me cautiously moves closer to the coffin and examines it with a flashlight, shouting, "It's empty inside. Could it be an empty tomb?" Captain Ma suggests, "Maybe we should open the other coffins to see if any have turned into the undead." The other two officers receive the order, "Yes, sir," and leave to carry it out. They use wooden sticks to pry open the coffin lids. Thienlam stops them. "No need." He uses a wooden sword to poke the largest coffin. "I'm saying the undead are in this coffin." Captain Ma pulls out the talisman and takes a defensive stance, fully focused. Everyone is cautious. The three officers don't dare relax, drawing their guns and pointing them at the coffin. Thienlam says, "Here it comes." Why doesn't this feel like a typical horror movie scene? The coffin lid suddenly pops open. Thienlam quickly steps back. Everyone is startled, not knowing what just happened. Thienlam widens his eyes and grits his teeth, showing great fear. The undead, wearing burial robes, slowly stands up with long black nails and red eyes that look terrifying. The coffin lid falls to the ground. The undead stands upright. Many dark shadows appear around the cave, spitting. The undead slowly turns its head to face the group of strangers. Its finger joints slowly move. The two male officers turn pale and shout, "It really is the undead!" Thien Lam calmly looks at the undead and mocks, "So ugly and still dares to scare people. Come here, female officer." Mi steps forward to shield everyone. Captain Ma and Su Thien Lam prepare to fight. One male officer urgently says, "Right, we go first." Thien Lam says sternly, "How can we let a girl go first? This girl is really strange." Captain Ma strokes his beard. "This is exactly the undead. Everyone is really brave." Brother Su, the police officer, says, "Yes, our talismans need time. She acted on her own." "Then just let it be." Bang Bang Officer Mi fired at the zombie. Bang, 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 3 officers took turns shooting the zombie, forcing it to retreat. It lost balance, falling backwards. Boom! He fell to the ground, dust flying everywhere. All 3 seems effective, not bad. Taking this chance. Thien Lum sat down to harness his energy. Light radiated in all directions along with a strong wind blowing into the cave. Everyone struggled to resist this strange wind. "Why is this happening?" Master Ma shouted. "Be careful!" Scratched the sound of nails scraping the ground. The zombie clung to the edge of the coffin. 2 more zombies jumped out from the coffin. The male officer's face turned pale. "No way more." Thien Lum harnessed his energy, drew a talisman, his whole body glowing. 2 more zombies were knocked to the ground. Previously unconscious, suddenly opened its eyes wide, white, and blank mouth agape. It and 2 other zombies simultaneously lunged toward Thien Lum. 2 zombies in the small coffin jumped forward. The one hit by a bullet jumped behind. Dust flew everywhere. "Don't panic, protect the master. We have to lure the zombies away. I'll take this path, everyone stay here." After saying that, the 3 officers scattered, each leading a zombie away. Next, Lum and Master Ma sat down to harness energy-drawing talismans to ward off evil. "Master Ma, Mr. So, please draw the talismans. I'll stay here to watch over this girl." "Who let you decide on your own inside the cave?" Thien Lum grabbed a talisman and ran forward. He caught up with Officer May Kay. "Don't be reckless." "Who's reckless? The zombie leader is right behind them." Thien Lum handed the talisman to May Kay to stick on herself for protection. "Of course I know. No need for you to say." Thien Lum spun around, launched a kick at the zombie. It also jumped up and lunged at him. "Ah!" A sharp scream came from Thien Lum. He was a bit worried. "Damn, she's on this side. Over there are 2 zombies." Hesitating, Master Ma caught up. "Master McKay entrusted her to me." He thought for a moment, then quickly left. "You 2 stall, I'll handle it." "Understood." The zombie bared 4 sharp fangs, preparing to bite. One zombie grabbed an officer, pinning him against the wall. The officer shouted fearfully, "Aha, Mr. So!" Thien Lum appeared like a divine soldier behind the zombie, harnessed his energy and struck. It quickly dodged. He punched the wall hard. The punch was so strong it made a loud echo. The whole cave shook. The officer saw the dent on the wall, his face pale, shouting, "Oh my God!" Thien Lum quickly withdrew his hand, then threw a powerful punch at the zombie. The zombie was knocked away but unharmed. Its eyes turned red. Not bad. Such a powerful punch, but useless. The zombie charged at him. The officer hugged his neck, shouting, "Mr. So, be careful!" The zombie grabbed Thien Lum. Its heavy body threw off his balance. "Damn it!" Thien Lum tried to stop it from biting his neck. His hands began to tremble. It was too strong indeed, it sucked human blood. Before finishing off this zombie, the remaining officer, in panic, accidentally let a second zombie hear. "Ah, cornered." Thien Lum frowned trouble. "Have to protect 2 people and deal with 2 zombies." He stretched out his hand to harness energy. The zombie suddenly grabbed his shoulders. He hurriedly pushed it away, jumped into the air to dodge its attack, then hovered mid-air. "Ha ha! I'll play with you." The zombie jumped up and lunged at him. He clenched his fist, pushing force behind it. He threw a punch straight at it. The punch hit its chest. It fell down, landing on the other zombie. "Ah, ah, ah." The 2 zombies slid across the ground. Thien Lum stuck talismans on the 2 officers, then instructed, "You 2 be careful, adapt as needed." Understood. The 2 zombies slowly stood up, continued jumping toward him. He grabbed one's arm, threw it hard to the ground. Dust flew thick. When it hit the ground, the angle was perfect, the movement smooth and flawless. Brother Suo. Thien Lum turned his head back, delivering a slick sliding kick to the leg of the Jiangshi, making it fall backward. The two policemen laughed heartily. Great hit. Thien Lum pulled out a talisman and mounted the Jiangshi. Here, talisman versus Jiangshi. The Jiangshi flipped over. Thien Lum couldn't react in time and was thrown off balance. He quickly stood up and backed toward the wall. Two Jiangshi jumped at him. He was surrounded and couldn't apply the talisman. The policeman worriedly said, Brother Suo, what should we do? Right, get the peachwood swords. Could you two please go fetch the peachwood swords? Brother Suo, hang in there. They hurried off to find the peachwood swords. Stay calm, Thud. Thien Lum jumped up to fight the two Jiangshi. The two Jiangshi were knocked flying into the corner of the wall. This isn't good. I don't know if the peachwood swords will work. Brother Suo, we're here. They held peachwood swords in hand and stabbed forward. The sword pierced straight into the back of one Jiangshi. It turned its head itchy. It scratched its back with its hand. The two policemen looked at each other. Looks like it just feels itchy. It kinda works. Lure it so Brother Suo can apply the talisman. The policeman holding the sword continued stabbing at the two Jiangshi. I'm stabbing. He had recovered his energy. He almost died earlier. He rushed forward, spreading his hands quickly like the wind. He applied two talismans on the foreheads of the two Jiangshi, then stood before them coolly. Creak, 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 creak! The two Jiangshi screamed and struggled frantically. They slowly lowered down, both subdued. The two policemen cheered. The whole team fought successfully, Brother Suo admired. I wonder how Sister Mi is doing over there. Legs trembling, the two policemen collapsed exhausted. You two rest a bit, I'll go check. Thien Lum dashed like the wind, borrowing momentum to leap up. But seeing them sitting motionless on the ground, something felt off, too quiet. Mei Kan Kwang, Master. Ma Dao, is everyone okay? He looked around. Why was there no Jiangshi in sight? All taken care of already. Master Ma Dao still motionless. Suddenly he lifted his head, his pitch-black eyes radiating dark energy, slowly standing up with his cane. Thien Lum stepped back. What's going on? Could it be they're poisoned by the Jiangshi? Master Ma Dao stood up and swung his cane toward Thien Lum. Thien Lum quickly dodged. Oh God, is the disciple trying to kill the master? Master Ma Dao's last strike left a big hole in the wall. Not bad, his power has increased, but it's not great if it's used against the master. Master Ma Dao said, Demon, receive your death, saying that he struck continuously, kicking up thick dust. Thien Lum circulated his energy and stood firm, style level 12 or above, truly his disciple. Thien Lum scratched his head. It'd be embarrassing if he lost to his disciple in public. Master Ma Dao clenched the weapon in his mouth, executed the decisive move Lum Bin Do Huiet Chun, and unleashed the Thunderlight technique. Master Ma Dao's killing intent surged. He took out a talisman surrounded by blue shockwaves. Thien Lum was startled. Damn, preparing Heavenly Thunder talisman against Jiangshi. Can it get any worse? Master Ma Dao raised the talisman before him. It radiated powerful blue energy that began attacking Thien Lum. No, I can't hold it anymore. Saying that he chanted a spell, creak, creak, creak. Thien Lum used Jiangqi to form a barrier against Master Ma Dao's attack dust everywhere. He needed to act quickly how to avoid endangering his disciple's life. He frantically thought. Suddenly a slender hand touched his neck. Little Ma. He turned around. It was Mi Kan Kwang placing her hand on his neck. She was also poisoned by the Jiangshi. Her black eyes radiated dark energy, but she still looked shy when touching Thien Lum. Master Ma Dao collapsed exhausted to his knees on the other side. Mi Kan Kwang moved closer to Thien Lum, making him a little worried and scared. Tien Lum Mi Kan Kwang swayed one hand on her hip, the other on his shoulder. I'm so hot. Making him blush deeply, not knowing what to do, she unbuttoned each button, revealing her breasts inside, looking at him provocatively. Aren't you hot? You're sweating profusely and stammering in response to me. Mi Kan Kwang pushed Thien Lum to the ground and she sat on top of him. He was extremely startled. Oh my God, a vampire. Suddenly he saw a shadow on the wall. Ah, found it. He quickly threw the talisman toward it. It was using the flying talisman trick. Following his command, the talisman stuck to the wall. Glowed, the vampire appeared, revealing a terrifying face with blood-red eyes, wide open and sharp fangs. Damn, it's awake. Need to call for help. Take out the phone, Supreme Elder. He tapped on the Supreme Elder's WeChat account. Supreme Elder, urgent matter. Thien Lum sent a friend request to the Supreme Elder with a message. Still missing one player for the second match duo battle, sending a third rescue with Vu K female service. Received AA phone alarm, says too many messages sent, you have been banned from sending messages. Dark energy surged. Thien Lum panicked. Playing around, want to fight? He quickly dodged the vampire's attack, accidentally pressing the wrong command in a split second. Mikan Kwang kept rubbing against him, making Thien Lum a bit annoyed. Oh no! The vampire lunged. He hugged Mikan Kwang and fell to the ground quickly, pulling out a talisman to stick on her forehead. She collapsed motionless. He sighed in relief. Phew! Slowly stood up to face the vampire. Beep, beep! The phone beeped. He raised it to scan the vampire. Beep, 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 beep. Seems like it couldn't scan the info. He focused and scanned again. Turns out there was a source of energy in the vampire's belly. Just as he thought that the vampire suddenly leapt to scare him, I'm terrified. He leaned and slid on the ground, slipping under the vampire's belly. The vampire was surprised to see him slip through. Face to face, he escaped the vampire's attack in a flash. Lum breathed out in relief. That was dangerous. Taking the chance, he kicked hard on the vampire's back. Come here, filthy vampire, I'm right here. The vampire angrily turned his head, glaring at him, then growled furiously at Thien Lum. Black energy spread from its body throughout the cave. Cough, cough, this is the black energy that Manyat Min inhaled. Luckily, my cultivation is high. He carefully raised both hands to shield his face to avoid inhaling it, then teased, Useless, ha-ha. The vampire looked at his hands, then punched the wall hard. He looked confused at why it suddenly went mad. The wall slowly crumbled. The vampire pulled back his hand covered in stones, forming a giant fist. He was shocked. Damn, the black energy is flaring up. Need to dispel the black energy first. Saying that, he pulled out a talisman with the water control spell. Go. A stream of water appeared from somewhere, flying toward the vampire under his control. It quickly swung its giant hand to block the water talisman, shattering the vampire's stone hand. Water and stones scattered everywhere. The vampire rushed out from behind the water curtain, lunging at Thien Lum. He reached out to block, but couldn't pull it away, stiff and unable to pull what to do. Water control talisman. Ineffective right scan. WeChat. He reached to grab the spirit pill, but couldn't pull it out. More tricks appeared. Took out the phone. The phone displayed in front of Thien Lum. A vampire with a spirit pearl needing the corresponding item. Want to take it. Want. WeChat is really timely, but both his hands were tightly held by the vampire. The atmosphere suddenly became eerily quiet. He tried to stretch his head toward the phone, craning his neck until trembling veins bulging, but still couldn't reach. The vampire leaned close. He squeezed his eyes shut. If I want to act fancy now, it's really tough. He stuck his tongue out and touched the want button on the phone screen. The phone notified that the rescue item had been received. What is that? A bit of hope. The phone produced a vacuum cleaner. Nonsense. What kind of weird stuff is this? How can I fight the vampire? Whoosh, the vacuum cleaner started. He and the vampire stared at it in confusion. The vampire was sucked forward. The vacuum's suction was extremely strong. The spirit pearl inside the vampire flew out. It was exhausted, its whole body limp. Grabbing the spirit pearl, Thien Lum cheered, Wow, you can't judge an item by its cover. Thien Lum held the spirit pearl, laughing loudly, ha ha ha. The black energy under the vampire's feet gathered. Its eyes suddenly brightened. Thien Lum realized, turned around to look back, intending to chase after it, but the zombie had already run away. Thien Lum panted, Forget chasing it. It's cornered and already exposed. I'm too exhausted to catch up. What is this spirit pearl that makes the zombie so strong? He took out his phone to scan. The phone displayed it as a level 1 yin spirit pearl with yin attributes. The yin property can help ghosts or people with yin attributes cultivate, can mesmerize people, and assist ghosts in cultivation without growing too large. This way, Ding Ding's trip won't be a loss. I heard WeChat has a new feature. I didn't expect it could scan the enemy's weakness and suggest suitable tools. Lom silently felt proud. Doesn't this make me invincible now? But how much did those tools cost just now? What is this? WeChat showed the payment receipt. The amount paid was 80 coins. Item name, Celestial Energy Vacuum Cleaner. Lom was stunned. A vacuum cleaner that costs 80 coins. The phone again showed 80 coins. Current status, payment successful. Item name, Celestial Energy. Vacuum cleaner. Product description level. 1. Specialized vacuum cleaner brand from the celestial realm. Payment time 8/22/2019. Payment method celestial energy balance. What the hell is this? I just fought one zombie and now this? I'm broke. Female police officer May slowly sat up, rubbed her head, frowned. Thien Lam, when did you get here? He quickly put away the spirit pearl. Elder Ma also slowly woke up feeling tired. What just happened? Are you two feeling uncomfortable anywhere? No, we're fine. Two men hurried over. They were two male police officers accompanying Tien Lam. They panted as they approached female officer May. Is everyone okay? All because you jumped into the well and got lost. Sister May, where did Chief Ma and the Taoist just disappear to? Brother To punched the zombie away. Female officer May K looked at him with admiration. Chief Ma also exhaled softly.